My boy. And also, I've got a skit. Yeah, so I'm going to get your reaction to it.
All right. Okay, then.
You ready?
Hello, dear listener. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Did I click on the wrong podcast? Is this a trailer for the new Sonic movie where a character called Tails flies like a parakeet by rotating his incredible tails? I'm here to say, no, you are indeed in the right place. This is the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 power star rating. Before today's episode with Silly Billy's Drew and Bryce, enjoy this pre-show starring two of your favorite Nintendo characters.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Super Mario. You may recognize me from notable Nintendo franchises, such as Mario Kart, Mario and Luigi RPG, Mario Golf. Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics despite Sonic's obvious advantage, and of course, Mario's Hotel on the Philips CDI. This episode I'm joined by one of Nintendo's greats. He's the hero of time, holds the Triforce of Courage, and is protagonist of the Legend of Zelda series. Everyone give a warm welcome to Link.
What a fantastic intro. I have to say I'm blushing a bit. Mario.
That's my pleasure. Your mark on the video game industry is obvious. Since your initial debut in 1986, you set the path of what action-adventure games would become on home consoles.
Yeah, I've honestly had a pretty good track record when it comes to the titles I have starred in, though Skyward Sword was a tough one. Most players would just spam the waggle on the Wiimote. Every day after work of being the protagonist of Skyloft, I was exhausted. That was a difficult time for my wife and kids.
Oh, I wasn't aware you were married.
Yeah, I usually like to keep my family life private from fans. A large portion of the community gets enjoyment from the thought of Princess Zelda and myself as an item. I think the general idea is sweet, but some of the artwork is too raunchy. Keep in mind she also has a family and a loving husband.
I hear you there. Even myself as a character from a family-friendly platformer gets drawn in some indecent ways.
It honestly needs to stop. Sometimes my wife comes across them on Rule 34 and I need to explain that they are only drawings. The fans are so talented and have gotten good at mimicking the art styles of my games.
Video games are a relatively new medium compared to music and film. Going forward, we will hopefully see better standards for video game protagonists.
Hopefully so, Mario.
We will continue this conversation in the future, but unfortunately that is all the time we have for the pre-show. Link, where can the listeners find you?
They can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Link is Awesome, and starring in all mainline The Legend of Zelda titles.
Excellent. Now Drew and Bryce, take it away.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 power star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 185 are open. This week on the show, we're reviewing Pokémon Snap. Well, I guess the new Pokémon Snap. We're not reviewing the one from 2000. That would be a bit redundant. And we're also talking about Nintendo Switch sales again. They keep updating them, they keep selling, and also some pretty fun information about a Zelda screenwriter. But to talk all about that is my best mate, Bryce DeWitt. How you going?
I can't believe you cameoed the Honest Trailers guy to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I did.
How much did that cost?
I didn't actually do that. I'm not telling you how. I'll tell you after the show how I did that.
All right, cool. No worries.
So I got Bryce's reaction to our skit to start off with. Bryce, what did you think? We haven't done a skit in a while.
That was great.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Loved it.
Yeah. So basically, I found some software where you can basically just like type it out and it reads it for you.
Oh, right. There you go.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So I thought it's hard for us because we sort of get to the room and we've got the podcast time. We've got 2 hours or however long it takes us to record for, and we don't have the sort of time to, sit down and actually do a skit, plan it out and record our lines and edit it and all that. So this way we might actually be able to, use the same account and just like sit down in bed and do it on our laptops and do it.
Okay.
So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty
Doing
good.
that way. We'll see what the listeners think about it, and we'll take take it on board.
Jesus.
I thought it was funny anyway.
Yeah, no.
As long as it entertains me to some extent.
Well, it entertained me. You got me.
Bryce, how you been, mate?
Hey, good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's good. That's good.
Absolutely. So we got Kraken and Cola here, Bryce. We got to crack it.
We do.
We got to crack it.
Kraken to Kraken.
After that, I've gotten a little bit warm, to be honest.
A little bit warm?
Yeah, actually, I still got the heater on too. I better turn that off.
Yeah, Jesus, why?
Don't know, because it was cold in here.
Oh, well,
The House of Mario's a bit cold.
I guess, but, I'm the one here with the jumper, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I guess, Bryce, the remote's over there. If you want to go and... If you can grab that for me.
Drew. All right, just don't knock over my Kraken.
No.
You're famous for that.
I am famous for knocking over a Kraken. But while you're doing that, mate, it's time to read a brand new Apple's podcast review we got. A 5-star one, which is absolutely fantastic. We actually got 2 this week, but we'll save... we'll save the other one for next week because, we never know when we get another one.
Yeah, that's true.
Got to ration them out a little bit. So this one is 5 stars and it's titled One of the Best. And it's by Sean Capri from Canada. So thank you very much, Sean, you bloody legend.
Sean.
So he's written this one. He's kept it in mind, but I will be reading this. So he takes us on a journey.
All right.
So let's go. 5 stars. So this is a great podcast, and honestly, why aren't you already listening to it? Well, to be fair, if you're listening to this, you're listening to the podcast. Thank you very much, everyone. Anyway, what's the matter with you? Do you have family issues? Well, you can join their Discord and talk about it. But it's like a win-win. You win because you're listening to a great podcast. You win again because you sort out your family issues. And you win again because the community is so fun. And I'm mostly writing this review so Drew reads it on air. And I'm hoping this ridiculousness makes him crack up because I enjoy his laugh and smile. And I think you will too.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh.
Thank you, Sean.
Also, the guys threatened not to release a new episode unless someone dropped a 5-star review. So there you go.
Oh.
Love you guys. Great podcast. Keep it up.
Threats work.
Yeah, threats
Try not to
work.
bang this. I can drop this everywhere. But yeah, I would have hit it harder.
So yeah, the threats worked.
That's it. Threats. That's how we do it.
So what's the threat for next week, Bryce?
Don't drop a 5-star review and we don't do another skit like that ever again.
Oh, I don't know. We don't know if they like that yet.
I don't know. It was pretty good.
Do appreciate. Look, we literally had what other podcast has had literally Super Mario and Link do an interview together?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I really would have thought they would have had more of an accent, to be honest, but they didn't.
No, yeah. There's something about the voices. They sounded a bit almost robotic.
Yeah. I wonder why. Oh.
I guess they are video game characters.
They are, yeah. So,
and I didn't hear one single "yeah" or "wahoo."
yeah.
So I guess.
Did you ever think before about these games are not necessarily their lives. This is just their day job at night time. It's a bit like Toy Story. They come alive once the console is turned off. They've got family, kids to feed. I
just feel sorry for Link's wife. That sounds terrible.
Princess Zelda's husband? Oh, be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. He'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the Legend of Zelda series, it's a great seller for Nintendo. It would be so Link would be on a great wage. Great contracts.
Especially since a lot of the art of Link these days is with the whole female Gerudo get-up disguise.
Yeah.
She's probably questioning his sexuality at this point.
It's like, Link, are we okay? It's like, no, we're fine, honey. I just literally, the player put me in this. Like, the new game, literally, they can choose my armor and my costume. I could be running around in my jocks. So.
What's going on there, Drew?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, something blacked out. I'm going to guess that your camera is flat.
Yeah. It is plugged in, though.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Don't know.
Who knows?
Got to ignore it. The audio is more important anyways. What are you going to do?
Yep. Oh, well. Rip camera.
Rip camera.
Sorry, camera.
So if you're on YouTube this week,
bad luck.
Look at our black screen.
Fantastic.
All right. So, Bryce, let's move into our Guru Geek Out for the week. And I want to give a big shout out to the Popculturists who celebrated episode 200 for their For the Players a PlayStation podcast. Ryan Betson and Max Cooper celebrated 200 episodes. And I just want to say huge congratulations. They do an absolutely fantastic PlayStation podcast over there. Ryan has been doing it since episode 1, and Max came in, I think, late or early 2020. So really, really enjoyable show. If anybody is into PlayStation and want to find out more about the PS5 and all of PlayStation's first-party titles, definitely go over and check out For the Players, the Popculturist PlayStation Podcast. Really fantastic. And once again, congratulations, episode 200. We'll be getting there soon, hopefully, Bryce.
Yeah, we're pretty close. We're pretty close now.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's
15 episodes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you think like, oh, only 15, but that's like a few months.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. And then there's to 300.
To 300, yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Well, 250 then 300.
These roads, man, I tell you, they're long, but they're rewarding.
They are definitely rewarding.
For sure.
Yeah. So, did you have anything you were thankful for? I know you went on a nice little getaway for the weekend. Was that anything you want to talk about, or?
I think that's pretty much the extent. Getting out of town was great. I haven't done it in such a long time thanks to COVID. So
Yeah.
yeah,
man.
I could have done it a while ago now, realistically, because we've pretty much gotten over that hump. But I just wanted to get away. But with this year, like I think we're both pretty called out on doing AvCon and PAX. Like I think that's pretty much off the table for us this year. Which is a shame, and that would make 2 years in a row that we haven't been able to attend and go and see people that we love and miss, and all that stuff. But you know what? As much of a shame it is, it's obviously very important. I think I mention it just about every episode we talk about PAX at this point. But just getting out of town for a bit in general was nice, and a bit of a relaxation, sort of a reboot, and yeah. I think that's kind of what I needed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you need it every now and again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went down into a mine.
Ooh, did you find any gold?
No, well, I saw gold. I didn't find any to keep for myself, but
Just behind like a museum or something? Is that
yeah, so
gold museum?
So at and for anybody's context that don't know what I'm talking about, in Ballarat in Victoria, they have a ye old town there known as Sovereign Hill, and it was a gold mining settlement, and they do the whole reenactment and all that stuff.
I loved it as a kid.
Yeah. This is the second time I've been. We definitely had more time to run around and explore this time around with a bit more money on our belts to sort of do some cool stuff.
Yep.
So we went down and we went for a mine tour. We got some photos taken. We bought some old timey candy. We did all that neat stuff. And the mine tour was definitely interesting because, I've been underground before because obviously near us we have the caves, which for anybody that don't know the area we're in, it's basically just displaying, I guess, places that they found fossils and all that stuff.
Yeah, fossils of like old ancient Australian animals. So like,
Yeah.
I forgot what the term was, but like the massive kangaroo and the massive wombat and
Yeah, megafauna.
yeah, they're like the size of dinosaurs almost. Like they were massive.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. It was. I've already been in that and done that before, but mine was a bit of a different experience because it's sort of like, it is a man-made structure for what it's worth. It's not something that's natural that's been uncovered. It was something that's been worked on and reinforced, and sort of you're walking through it, and a lot of the secrets of the earth and all those niceties, like finding gold and all that stuff, was all on display there. We also went to the gold pour. Hey, look, the camera's back.
Just playing with it.
The gold pour as well, which was really awesome. That was basically just a physical demonstration of... What are you doing?
No, I am listening. I'm just trying to work out the camera.
All right, he's trying to work out the camera. Anyway, we went to the gold pour, which is literally just melting down some gold, pouring it into a bar, cooling it down, popping it out and going, well, there you go. There's a gold bar, and that's how you make one. And then you go, and then that's it. But the interesting fact about that, I think, is that the gold bar that they had was worth $280,000, and they've been re-smelting the same piece of gold for the last 30 years every day for a demonstration.
Oh, shit.
30 years they've re-smelt it. Like, they've literally just, bought it down, put it into a bar, like a cast, cooled it down, popped it out. Next one goes on. They put it back in the melting pot, melt it down. Yeah, and I like that. That in itself is kind of incredible. Just tells you how durable gold actually is at a molecular level, I guess. Being that deconstructed that many times.
When I was a kid, when I went there, like I really wanted to be a gold digger. Not a gold digger as in like marrying some rich man or anything like that. But just like all I wanted to do was like have like a lot of money so I could buy toys. That's what,
and that's what it was.
And then I actually saw what being a gold miner was, and like I'm like, that is awful. No way.
Yeah. It was obviously like, and especially these days, like there's no way you're gonna find gold as aplenty as it was back in those gold rush times. The gold rush was obviously just an absolutely huge thing. So a lot of people jumped on the train, picked up a hell of a lot of it, and it's mostly depleted now for what it's worth. There's obviously still some left there and all that stuff, but yeah, these days you could not manage that. And in fact, like even just getting a permit for doing something like that would probably cost you a hell of a lot of money. It's a shame, really.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw you put some photos on Facebook. You were like, searching for gold in like the river and stuff like that. Did you find many specs? You put them in the bag. You get to take it home?
Nah.
No?
Nah, we went at it for about 15, 20 minutes and then we gave up.
Oh, right.
we had like 6 adults and 2 children who have been walking around this, reenacted town the whole day. So we're just like, and that was the last thing we did. We're just like, all right. Cool.
You're like, I got a spec. Cool. Let's get it. Let's get out of here. Fair enough.
Yeah, somebody got a spec. We put it in a tiny jar. And we're like, all right, cool. And that's all the gold we need. See you later. Millionaires. Ding, 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 ding. Or you could just be like me and invest in cryptocurrency.
That's the thing. Like the gold rush. Like the times of long past then. We're buying invisible things on the internet. What are they called? Like NRCs? No, NRTs?
Oh, NRTs.
NRTs, yeah. You're buying like the rights to like Jack's tweet on Twitter, the very first tweet, and just like dumb stuff like that.
I hate NFTs.
NFTs, yeah.
I hate NFTs. Like there's just something about NFTs that feels so vindictive. I don't know what it is.
I want to sell the NFT for this very episode. Do you reckon someone will buy it?
No.
No, I don't think I so either.
It's like the thing is with NFTs is like in comparison to cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Dogecoin, it's like, yeah, you're sort of getting a product or a right out of it, but there's so much vindictiveness around it. Like there's like a gacha site where you can like gacha for NFTs, but to do that you have to spend cryptocurrency. And it's not cheap. It's like thousands of dollars worth of cryptocurrency to like pull an NFT out of a gachapon. So you don't even know what you're getting.
Yeah. Oh, well. You can save your money then. You can spend it all on crypto. Hey?
Yeah, well, I rebought back into Doge again because Jesus Christ, that flew over the last week. We went from like 33 cents to 87 cents.
What did you buy it at?
My initial purchase was like 3 cents, and then I sold it at 30, and rebought just again recently because it's obvious it's not going to stop, so I'm just going to wait for it to go. I bought a little bit, and I'll just hold on to it from now and just see what happens.
Hopefully the investment pays off well. You'll be able to go full-time podcast editor.
Look, I don't think it'll pay off as much as it did for the people who bought Bitcoin back in 2012, but like it might be enough to sort of put me at an edging point where I'm like, all right, cool, I can buy a house and buy it outright and just live my life. It might happen one day. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
If it doesn't, then I'll at least sell it for a tidy profit if I just hold on to it.
Just blame the Doge.
Well,
God damn it, Doge.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what happens because it's just I don't know what it is with Doge, but it sort of went like from nothing people bought it at nothing, spent like $1,000 on Dogecoin. Like there was somebody on the Dogecoin subreddit that invested at 1K at like near its lowest and bought 1K worth of Doge. And they were posting what their investment has sort of traveled to today, and it went up to like went from 1K to $256,000.
Yeah, nice. Anyone that doesn't know what Doge is, by the way, it's a type of cryptocurrency.
Yeah. It's the meme currency.
Yeah,
which is now soaring like absolute mad. I wish I kind of just kept investing back at like the 3 cents I was buying it, because if I'd done that and had a bit behind me.
Oh, that's the goose coming in, Bryce. It's just trying to tell us stop going on a tangent about cryptocurrency.
Oh, fuck off.
All right, Bryce. So let's talk about the big game of the week or of last week. New Pokémon Snap that came out, made by Bandai Namco. The second Pokemon game to be made by them. Very exciting stuff. You wrote a review for dashgamer.com.
I did indeed. Submitted today.
So go and check that out. That'll be in the show notes for anyone who's interested in reading that one.
When it turns up.
when it turns up.
Yeah,
when the publisher hits that magic
that's
button.
right, when it gets posted. Yeah.
Depends how much paper's left in the print. If there's enough black ink for all those words you wrote about it.
Yep, indeed.
Yep. So, Bryce, what did you think about it, man? Let's get into it.
Good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I would actually, I'll tell you what, I'll accept one thing from the review because it pretty much sums it up pretty nicely. I sent this to you earlier, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that I wrote in my review, and it's probably the joke I'm proudest of. I said, the premise is simple. You're an aspiring Pokemon photographer who joins a small team of Pokemon behavior researchers led by Professor Mira, a man who spends more time in his lab rather than actually interacting with the Pokemon he wishes to know more about, and 3 other photographers that would rather shirk their responsibilities onto you. I wrote rather twice.
No, they'll pick it up for you.
Yeah, I'll fix that. That would rather shirk their responsibilities onto you than rerun the same course a second time and make you run it a 20th.
That's the thing. Like, as far as the story goes, it's like, well, can't you bastards like actually take some photos? Why am I doing all the work around here, taking photos of all these Pokemon and all that?
Yeah, well, if only.
If only.
No, like that's the thing with Pokemon Snap, and I expected it going into it. Is that it is repetitive, and it is a game that is crafted for people that want to complete it. And you know that's kind of what it's designed to be anyway, and it has been ever since 1999. You know, rerunning the same thing over and over again until you get what you need, and sort of yeah. And I think it's like important that people sort of treat it as a laid back experience more than anything. How much have you finished?
I've done a fair few areas. I don't know how many hours I've put into it. I haven't finished the game yet. But like going into it, it's pretty much what I expected from the game. I wanted like a nice, relaxed, on rails, first person shooter. Not literally with a gun, but with a camera, taking photos of Pokemon and apples. Yeah, so it is funny because like some people point out Twitter because they're called like
fluff fruit.
Yeah, fluff fruit, and like, oh no, they're nice and light. They won't hurt the Pokemon, but they look heavy as hell. Like when you throw them, and like you throw them in the water and they just sink like a rock.
Well, just think about old Todd Snap back in the day. He was literally throwing apples at Pokemon. He did not have a care, and he threw an item called Pester Balls. Pester, like literally designed to piss things off.
Yeah, so that's going from this game because they didn't want to have a negative connotation as far as annoying the wildlife. So in this one, you just play some nice music. You feed them with some apples.
Yeah.
You can use the Illumina Orb to light up the Pokemon for, I guess, a variety of different snapping opportunities in the wild. And what I really like about it, because I didn't play much of the Nintendo 64 version, so like it's not a new experience necessarily. I have played the original game before, but this is the first one I've owned, and I'm actually actively playing. And I like that it's so repetitive because you go through every. Because, games these days, they've gotten so big and you don't really explore, each area, in-depthly. But this one, you're every tiny corner, you're if I do this there, will this happen? You're looking for like a chain reaction to every single location of every single level.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it because like even just watching people like Twitch streaming it be like I've got like one Pokemon to find in this place and I don't know what it is. And you're just like looking for every little clue and you see a Pokemon there and you're like, it's doing nothing. You're like, all right, I think it's that, but I've got to feed it or I've got to play a song. A Lumina Orb, whether you're doing it at nighttime or daytime, depending on what level you're doing it in. It's just like, it's really interesting trying to like figure that stuff out. It's very much like a puzzle game trying to figure out what you're trying to do and all that.
Yeah. The way that they sort of work around, like you were saying just now, about chain reactions, that is something that's pretty prominent in it, I find. Like when you think about, I can't spoil too much, but later on in the game, there is one where it is literally you have to guide a Pokemon through a forest using crystal bloom flowers. So you have to throw Lumina Orbs at the crystal bloom flowers at a specific time so that it catches them every time it sort of lights up. If you just smack them too early, like it's not going to notice and it's just going to go to the closest one.
Yep.
But you got to sort of guide it, and then it actually leads to a conclusion that'll get you a rare snap that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So it's full of stuff like that, and that's awesome. You know, there's some unnoticeable stuff like you might see an applin in the tree or whatever. Actually, now that I think about it, I'd said something to somebody earlier, but like the game is largely lacking Gen 8, like a lot. And I said there was only 2 in the game, but now that I think about it, there is 3 Gen 8 Pokemon.
Be the starter Pokemon, wouldn't it?
No, it is...
Is Sobble not in there?
No.
No, right.
No, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Applin are the only 3 Gen 8 Pokemon.
Yeah, right.
But I largely forgot about Applin because you only see it twice in one course, and then that's it. You never see it again. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's also the first time that you see it without the apple on, too. So there you go. That's interesting.
Yeah, see, I haven't come across Applin yet, so that's cool.
Yeah, so do search out and do look everywhere. I think is the most important thing to take away from Snap. But that's been the same even in the case of the 1999 game. You know, like you want to sort of take a keen eye to everything. There's a lot of missable secrets in the game. And I've run every course several times, like quite easily. I've maxed a few of them. So I've seen a lot, but I know I haven't seen it all. I'm gonna get there, I think. I think I'm like interested enough to sort of keep going and at least get my courses like near max, just so I can see everything. But there is a lot there to appreciate. Even just in the base, like the interactions between Pokemon. I don't know how many you've found, but even just like in the first area with, you can get the Pidgeot to pick up a Magikarp, for example, if you do correct things and sort of stuff like that. And it is very largely, reactions based, I suppose. Actually, that's a good question. Who burnt the apples in the park?
Torchic? Was it Torchic? No, I don't know.
So the only fire Pokemon in the park is Scorbunny.
Oh, cheeky Scorbunny.
Right? It was not Scorbunny. Believe it or not. It was
All
not
right, he's
Scorbunny.
been set up.
Oh. It's a Mulga.
Oh. Spoiled for everyone.
Well, it is something that you literally not even think about it. Like you won't catch it unless you sort of do something with it. And that's like something that you can catch from the first time you run it. So it is just interesting to sort of like take that into account, is that because the game specifically points it out, as it's like, oh, could you guess who would have done this to the apples? You immediately think Scorbunny because it's the only fire Pokemon in the course. And then it wasn't Scorbunny.
Yeah, everyone's hiding. Yeah, because it comes up a lot too, like leading up to launch, like Pokemon Snap. The first one, a pretty bare bones game in some ways, just as there's like a heap of replayability there. But if you're just someone who's like, oh, that was a fun level, done it, bouncing out, there won't be so much content there for you. But like with this one, I would say it is probably worth the 80 Australian bucks.
Yeah. Especially
Especially if you're really interested in like really finding out every single Pokemon.
In my review, I put at the end of it that it's not going to be worth the $80 price tag if you're looking for length, because you could rush through the game in 9 hours.
Yeah.
I think is probably the fastest casual playthrough at the moment. I'm sure people will probably find faster ways to do it. But if you just want a laid back experience and a bit of a collectathon that's a little bit more on the lighthearted side and fun as opposed to an actual grind, yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely worth your money. But I think regardless of either one you are, if you can't pick it up at full price, it's definitely worth a pick up if you find it on sale.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's one of those games that will go on sale, because Pokken Tournament, that's one I haven't picked up on Switch, and I'm like, you know what, I'll get it for cheaper down the line. Hasn't happened yet. Like there was a few times when they put out a trial on Nintendo Switch Online, and it was a bit cheaper then, but it was still wasn't cheap. It was like, oh, it's $60, what a deal. So that was a Wii U game from 2016.
Yeah, but this is a new game, and if they put it down to $60, like, I wouldn't complain too much.
Yeah. No, I'm not really comparing it, but I'm just saying that it probably won't drop in price. It's one of those evergreen Nintendo titles. They'll keep up there.
They'll surf it. Yeah, and I understand that.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on, say, someone who's like, you know what, I can't stand the Pokemon RPGs. I'm not into turn-based. I'm not into that bullshit. But I do like little cute creatures, and this looks entertaining. What would you say to people like that?
I mean, yeah. If you are into Pokemon in general but don't enjoy the games, and you're looking for a Pokemon game to enjoy, this is one you can get behind. I think the best option you could possibly do first is, even if you've got a Wii U, you can just get the original Pokemon Snap on your Wii U and give that a crack first.
Yeah, true.
And if you like it and you are looking for something that's a bit more substancy, because obviously Pokemon Snap, the original one, only goes so far, you can finish it in less than 2 hours.
This one's a lot, obviously, a lot better to look at as well.
Very meaty. It's very meaty in terms of how much actual, pictures you can take and all that stuff. That's my foot. In how much pictures you can take, and like the scenarios that they can be taken, and the different paths you can take, and it's it's definitely more of an experience. And like, even past the end of the game, there's stuff to look for. Like, there's some legendary Pokemon flying around and stuff like that. Not going to tell you who, but they're there. Just going to find them. As far as I'm concerned, there's no shinies in the game yet. Depends on their content update schedule, whether they're going to have any or what have you. Haven't heard anything about it yet, but for now, yeah, there's plenty to sort of take pictures of. Even in the post game, there's something to hunt, I guess, and hunt for the perfect pictures for. You've obviously got the high score system, so if you really feel like a bit of a high score junkie, you can do that and compare yourself with other people online.
Yeah. So that's actually a pretty great feature. I like how they have the social element, and even with like the professor when he's like, all right, I'm going to grab this photo and put it up because I like it. I reckon that's a good feature as well, because even if you can't be bothered posting your own photos, you can have photos going up anyway.
That's right.
Which is pretty cool. And on launch day, I was going through like some people's snaps, and they were pretty good. But like going forward, you're going to get some pretty incredible looking photos to go through, I think, and get some inspiration for your own Pokemon photography.
Yeah. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can use an Instatex printer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, to print your photos out. They actually made a specific one for Pokemon Snap as well.
Yeah, Fujifilm. It's basically like a case that sort of just like slips over the printer.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's $200 in Australia. I think EB Games had it up for pre-order. So if you're interested in that, go and check that out. But personally, I'm not a scrapbooker or anything. So
no, I'd like to make a collage out of it though. I think that'd be something pretty cool to do.
What I'm actually surprised about in the last week actually is, like, I haven't seen this game on Twitter. I thought this would just like take over my Twitter account, just be like, here's photos of people playing, or whether I'm just not following like Pokemon snappers.
I've seen a fair few pictures, but yeah, you're right. I don't think it's blown up.
I thought it would have just taken over my Twitter account, but it just hasn't.
Yeah, you follow a lot more people that do Pokemon than I do too, so I suppose that.
Yeah. And like, in saying that, I haven't posted anything, so
no,
so I guess I'm a part of it too. Actually, I did. I posted a picture of a whale lord, which is just a blue screen.
Yeah. I will actually point that out because I forgot to do that at the start of it. But my copy was provided by Nintendo, so do keep that in mind. Obviously, but my opinions are my own.
Just chuck it in the middle.
Well, yeah, you know, I better say something. That being said, you know, I think for me, the only reason I hadn't really done anything with it is because, you know, I am sitting there trying to write this review, and it is sort of just another brick in the wall. So, and I never ended up doing it, but I am interested to see, you know, the pictures that people come up with. I guess I reckon the Instatix thing is like a good thing because that sort of brings back the whole. What was it? Was the Game Boy printer you could hook it up to in the 64?
A lot of people talk about going to Blockbuster and printing it out, but
yeah, right.
That was, you know, something I didn't do because it was before my day, or, you know, I didn't play the game either.
Yeah,
or didn't have a 64. So
yeah, well, there you go. But yeah, no. So it is it is cool that you can do stuff like that, and you could sort of make your own unique collages out of the Pokemon photos that you take, which is definitely awesome. And I would love to do something like that with maybe just like a pin-up board and just do that. I think that'd be awesome. And I think that's just going to be one of the things the game's going to be great for. But I think as for sharing actual photos, like I think people are more interested in trying to get the perfect photo to put up on Twitter, which requires you to constantly sort of drag it out. Because a lot of the photos you see on social media of Pokemon Snap that people have taken are of like a perfect framed picture of Bidoof's dump truck ass, or or a Finneon that looks at you seductively, or, you know, but like just despite the memes, they are like high quality, like really good snaps that people have taken.
It's like, you know, it's funny when you're playing the game, like a lot of your photos are just like, oh yeah, what, like you see it come up, you're like, oh, that was pretty ordinary.
Garbo, yeah.
But like every now and again you do one, it's like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm definitely saving that one. Like there's one in like the first level where the Bidoof are coming down the river, and they're going to go under the bridge. And like, I just like got a really good one of them holding the apple and like looking, like playing with one another. I'm like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like it's just like moments like that. That's when like the real satisfaction comes out. Like
I'm trying to remember it, but I got like during a regular run, I got a 5K picture of a Pokemon, and I was just like, holy shit! Like that was my first like absolutely massive score hit, and I don't think I've taken a better picture since. I can't remember exactly what it was though. But even just like capturing stuff like that, like capturing your really good pictures, and then putting them up on social media, like I think that's a fantastic thing. Like, and the ability to do that is good, but it's another step. Like I feel like the Switch isn't too bad at quick sharing content, but as we know, it's kind of a system we've forgotten about because of how much of a pain in the ass it is to do it with specific games, like Smash, for example.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Like that's like, so we know it's there, and we take the film, like we take the screenshots and we take the recordings, but I don't think we ever really do anything with them. It's kind of like with Monster Hunter Rise, for example. Team Darkside does Monster Hunter Rise Gone Wrong every week, and it is people just submitting their clips, and they have an instructional segment that goes for about a minute, and in every single video to get people to give them the highest quality possible, because otherwise it makes a really shit YouTube video.
Yeah.
So it's like, basically their process is you know, hit the record button after something weird happens, and then what you want to do is you want to take a USB cable, plug it into your computer, and then you want to navigate through your Switch, pull out the video, and then you want to upload it to your Google Drive, and then you want to take a copy of that link and make it shareable and editable, and then you can send it to us in an email in which we can download it and then put it into a video.
It's almost as convoluted as sending a video into Funniest Home Videos.
It's like, why can't we just hit the button, go share to YouTube, and upload it. It shouldn't be that difficult, and then you can just share the link with them.
Yeah, do you remember Mario Kart 8 had the you could upload videos to YouTube from Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that game. God forbid anything else.
Like, oh.
Nintendo's like, we're not as proud as the other games. Just that one. Show off that one.
Like, why does it have to be that complicated that we have to connect the whole device up to a computer just to remove it and then re-upload it to the internet?
Well, Bryce, that's just the world we live in with Nintendo. You know how it is, mate.
I guess.
2021, it's not going to get any better, I'm afraid.
But there must be something along the lines of that as well with Pokemon Snap. Maybe you can't take... Can you take in-game screenshots? I have no idea.
Yeah, you can. I've done it and uploaded it. Yeah.
Right, okay.
You can do it, yeah.
Okay, that's good then. But
maybe
still...
I'm just following the wrong hashtags or something. But I guess talking about like taking good photos, what do you think of the actual... like how the photos are scored? So you've got two different types of score. You've got the number score, and you've also got the star score, which goes from 1 to 4 stars, and they're also ranked from bronze to diamond.
You do know what the 1 to 4 stars means?
Mm.
Yes. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's like different poses.
Yeah.
So if you want the 4-star, you need like the secret sort of animation or whatever.
It kind of just determines its rarity as a pose more than anything else. It
Yeah.
actually doesn't determine anything towards your score.
Yeah, so you could get like a better scored 1-star than a 4-star potentially. It
Yeah.
depends on how well you frame the shot.
And then the accolade awards, so bronze, silver, gold, and diamond.
I assume it's diamond. It looks like diamond.
Yeah, it's like between 2,000 and 3,000 is 2,000 and 2,999 is bronze, and then 3,000 to 3,499 is silver, 3,500 to 3,999 is gold, and then onwards is diamond.
Yeah. It just shows you how much like you have to go through each level too, because like if as many photos as you can take, you can only like take away one photo of that Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like if you get a 1-star and a 4-star, yeah, you can choose. You're obviously probably going to choose the 4-star because that's going to be the harder one to get in the future. But then you've got to go through that level a minimum of 4 times, and it's going to be way more than that.
That's right.
And for each Pokemon.
And there's 24 courses, so you are looking at 96 times at the absolute bare minimum to find everything. But the chances of you doing that in 96 times are so incredibly stupidly low, especially if you're not looking at a guide, that you're going to be running these courses a hell of a lot. And there's 24 of them, so keep that in mind.
So like, yeah, if you're into the game, there is sort of no lack of gameplay there. There's plenty.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the repetitiveness that'll put people who want longevity, that'll put them off. I personally don't mind, and like, that's something that's carried on with me from the original Snap anyway. I'm used to just going back into courses and going,
yeah.
But for people who never really sat down and experienced the older games, so newcomers to Snap, that's definitely not what you're going to be looking for if you're looking for longevity. It is very much a collectathon. It's a funner collectathon than most collectathons, but it's still a collectathon.
Got to snap them all. It's Pokemon.
Well, that's right. And then people returning to Snap, I think you pretty much know what to expect at this point. I don't think that anybody needs to be told that you're going to be doing the same course over and over again, because I think people are aware of that.
Yeah.
Just be aware that you're going to be doing it more than you were in the original game. I believe, anyway. So,
yeah. I personally, for me, really enjoy it, but like the first night, I played like 2 hours of it, but I got to the point where I've had enough. I don't have to. I personally can't do it for like 4 or 5 hours just playing Pokemon Snap. I had to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
Don't know if you're the same, or you just smashed out 10 hours in the one sitting, or
yeah, no. During my time playing it, at least, I mean, I was in Ballarat when I started. I got it on the day that I got to Ballarat. So I had stuff to do in between then, so it didn't really bother me too much. But then when I got home, like it was kind of a case of like, oh yeah, I'll play some. I'm like, all right, time to put it down. And then I bought Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition, which was $19 on Steam. So I bought that, and then I was like, all right, I'll play some of that. And then, I'm like, oh, I'll go to Genshin Impact, play some of that. And then at night, I'm getting to bed. I'm like, all right, probably time to play some Snap. And then I'll do that. Yeah. There wasn't any like extended gaming sessions that were like 8 hours straight of Pokemon Snap. But, you know, I think the most I spent at one time was definitely probably about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good stint. I saw on the weekend, content creator A-Drive was doing a charity stream for 30 hours.
Yes, he
playing
was.
Pokemon Snap. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, have fun with that A-Drive.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's, yeah, definitely ambitious, especially considering, again, you know, that game could be finished up in 9 hours very fast. So he would have to be doing a lot of reruns to keep that 30-hour stream going.
Yeah. Yeah, just smash it out in just one sitting.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of our thoughts on the game. Actually, one thing I will add is if you're playing this game, definitely chuck on a headset because like the audio design in this is actually quite good. Like
It is, yeah.
I got actually a brand new pair of headphones. I picked up Returnal for the PlayStation 5 on the weekend, and I picked up the Pulse 3D headset for the PS5 as well, the Sony one. And it comes with a little dongle, and I'm like, you know, I wonder if this works with Switch. Plug it into the dock, turn on the headset, works straight away.
Beautiful.
Like absolutely, had to do absolutely nothing.
Gorgeous.
Like, fantastic. So I can use this for Switch and PS5. Fantastic. Nice and easy. So I was using that, playing Pokemon Snap. I could finally have a headset listening to audio while playing on the TV. That's something I haven't done on the Switch because it lacks Bluetooth audio, as we all know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounded awesome because like you can hear something that like you haven't caught before. Like I know what that is. Like, is that an Arbok? And you can like hear it like behind you. And like so then you like, swivel around and like you're looking through the bushes, you're throwing apples, and like then you can see it. So it actually like helps you discover things in the game. So definitely chuck on a pair of headphones if you're interested in getting this.
See, I didn't have the thought to think about that while I was doing my playthrough. Like I didn't do it at all. I mostly played it in handheld for what it was worth.
Yep.
But now that I think about it, yeah, you're right. I think the audio does definitely help a lot with it.
Yeah, no, it definitely enhances it because like, you know, you're slowly moving like along your rail.
Yeah.
And like you just like it puts you in that space a lot more. I don't know like what type of quality like this Pulse 3D headset is for the 3D audio. I know it does all that 3D audio stuff on PS5, but no, it works really well on Switch. So if anyone is actually looking for a headset and you have a PlayStation as well, that is definitely a great headset to get if you're looking for one.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I plugged it into the Xbox. I wonder if the PlayStation headset works on the Xbox. Of course it doesn't. Didn't work. Works on the Switch though. Well,
I've got an Xbox specific one, so we're rivals here.
yeah. Oh, did you get the Xbox one? Did you?
I've got the Xbox ROGs.
What? ROGs?
Yeah. No, not ROGs. Fucking Jesus.
Xbox?
Plantronics. Rigs. Sorry.
Rigs. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking Republic of Gamers.
Right.
Yeah, but no, the Plantronics Rig 600X, like the expensive pair of wireless headphones anyway, because I owned the 600 before that, and I love them headphones, so I bought the Xbox version quite a while ago, and it works with my PC, and they're really good. They're really good.
Oh.
Anyway, besides that, anyway, speaking of sound design real quick, I do just want to talk about the soundtrack real quick. It's really good, and like it's nice orchestral pieces. It sounds very Pokemon, and I wrote this in my review too. Once you get into the zone, like it helps immerse you initially, but once you get into the zone, you start zoning out of that music, and I stopped hearing it.
Yeah,
Because it is largely a visual experience.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I'm like, I can't really remember apart from like mushing through the dialogue when you're sort of going through like between areas. Yeah,
I went back and listened to it for the review, like through a YouTube video, because I had to. I'm like, I cannot remember like after the first hour and a half of the music. The music is good.
I mean, to be fair, it goes real quiet, so you can hear like waterfalls and leaves and
I suppose it
cries and stuff.
I suppose it does, yeah, but it's a shame in its own sense because there is like this big orchestral track behind it that's actually quite nice. But you tune out of it. You don't hear it anymore. I literally don't remember hearing any music in the last like 7 or 8 levels except for the last photo opportunity.
Yeah, right.
It is literally like it just went barren. I just don't remember it like at all. It's just gone out of my head.
It's definitely one of those games where it's just sort of it's there. It does enhance the experience, but it's not in your head. It's not like playing a Legend of Zelda game. You get the Hyrule Field.
Yeah.
And in that you notice the big open field and you notice the music straight away.
Yeah, that's right.
But if the music would just get in the way, if
the
music was like, oh, this is a rapping beat, you're just like going for the jungle like it's like, oh, I'm missing all the Pokemon. I'm just dancing. I can't get enough.
No, I definitely agree. Like I put my praises in the review that I wrote. Like that, it is good. It's just it takes much more of a backseat than what you expect in a video game. And like, I understand that it's like more or less a visual experience, and that sort of takes your focus. But as somebody that listens to a lot of video game soundtracks and remembers them, it was really weird to not remember any of this whatsoever.
Because Pokemon Snap, did that have a memorable original soundtrack?
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, similar thing.
So it is a little bit of a shame, I guess.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it then.
No, well, it is a little bit of a shame. It's just sort of like, it absolutely beats me as to why it sort of just ended up the way it did, and I don't remember any. Because it is quite nice. There is some nice music there that's just completely gone missed. Just hasn't stuck in my head.
All right. Well, you have to download the soundtrack on Spotify and dance to it.
My last disappointment is that for a very shortly scripted game, hardly any of it was voice acted.
Yeah, true. Because
the voice acting they had was good, but why the fuck didn't they just voice act the whole thing?
Because every now and again they just chuck it in and they talk. Oh, okay.
Yeah, oh cool. Like they'll talk during like the scenes where it's more of a CGI movie clip type thing or what have you, but then all of a sudden it like disappears and they're back to text boxes and they're like, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Cool. And you're like, oh, couldn't you just like the script wasn't that long. Like I've seen all the text boxes in the game, all the unique text boxes. The script is not very long. It's not huge. Couldn't have you just paid the voice actors just that little bit more to stick around and just do all of it? It would have been great.
I could imagine the Pokemon company just like, all right, this is your voice acting budget.
Yeah.
And it's also your lunch budget. So, you got to sort of think about it. So the guys at Bandai Namco, like, tell you what, let's just put $20 into the voice acting and we'll spend $80 on lunch. We'll treat ourselves. Development's been pretty hard. COVID, let's treat ourselves. So that's maybe why the voice acting isn't quite where it is.
It just feels like typical, like, they don't want to spend any more than what they have to. And like, the voice actors, they popped up on Twitter and they're like, oh, I voiced this character and I voiced this character, and
everyone's like, it's just like said cool.
They're really happy about it. Yeah, that's right. Like it's like apart from like a couple of clips, like you guys really didn't get to display your talent. And from what I could tell, like they were pretty talented people. Yeah,
especially when this game is like, there are Easter eggs in the background that refer to the anime. So this sort of game is like sort of more in the anime than it is like the Pokemon RPGs and all that as well. Yeah. So just like get some of your voice actors. Like you run a whole anime, one of the most successful animes, most longest running animes in history. Just bring some of those boys over, those girls over. Yeah. Chuck some lines into your snapping game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They could have done it. The whole thing could have been voice acted and it would have been absolutely brilliant, and it would have like added a whole nother layer of just like quality, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's JRPGs that sell, 500,000, 250,000, nowhere near the numbers as Pokemon will.
Yeah.
We're going to the sales for Pokemon Snap. It's sold a few million already just in the UK. Like it's, they'll make their money back if they pay someone to voice the, hey, let's go to the forest and snap some Weeping Bell. What do you think? Oh yeah, Professor, that's a good idea.
Is this your audition tape for voice acting?
We should just dub it ourselves. We've got the microphones.
Just like, even in something like Breath of the Wild, I suppose, where like there's so many lines of dialogue that it's hard to keep up with wherever everything is. Like maybe that's something like that I'd understand. But it just like here it was like, damn it, you could have just done the whole thing and it would have made the world feel that more alive.
Also, the Pokemon just doing their cries and not doing the more anime like sounds, where it's like saying their name or little like actual acted grunts or squeaks or whatever. That would have been nice as well. But these are all like, at the end of the day, it's not the biggest thing, but it is just like a bit of a nitpick that would have added to the presentation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I think that's pretty much my complaints.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a pretty solid experience for what it is.
Yeah, great game, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what you expect if you played the original Nintendo 64, and if you're a newcomer to Nintendo Switch and you went around with Nintendo 64 days, go and check out a review or so, or some footage, whatever, see if it interests you. It's just a nice, delightful collectathon, really.
That's all it needs to be.
But it immerses you in the world of Pokemon.
That's right. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah. All right, Bryce, that's great talking to you about that, and just let's jump into some Nintendo news. All right.
Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
My body is still.
All right, Bryce. So this week in Nintendo news, we're going to go over some new Pokemon Snap charts in the UK. So it's gone quite well in the UK, Bryce, and this comes from gamesindustry.biz. And the article reads, new Pokemon Snap has topped the UK physical retail charts in its debut week. The Switch game sold over 4 times as many copies as at launch than the original managed, which reached number 9 way back in September 2000. The game arrived in the middle of Pokemon Mania. However, it was a Nintendo 64 title, which was a console that struggled to sell in the UK. So it sold 1.5 million Nintendo 64s when compared to 5.4 million PlayStations at the time, Bryce. So, yeah, we all know the UK was a PlayStation-dominated place, and it still is to this day. So, continuing on, over the time, Pokemon Snap went to become a decent hit for the console. The Switch is significantly more successful than the Nintendo 64, but even compared to more recent games, the results look quite good. New Pokemon Snap's opening week is 2.5 times bigger than the last Pokemon spin-off game, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, which launched on Nintendo Switch in March 2020. It is the third biggest launch of the year, Switch launch of the year behind Super Mario World, 3D World, Bowser's Fury, and Monster Hunter. So, in saying that, is like the third biggest big game for the Switch this year. So,
yeah.
In saying that as well. The photography game was also comfortably ahead of number 2, which was another new release in the form of the PS5 exclusive Returnal. Sony's roguelike game is the first significant PS5 title to release at retail since launch, and it reviewed strongly. However, its launch sales are below what we've seen from previous AAA PlayStation exclusives. Of course, there are more than a few caveats to consider. The PS5 in its early days in terms of install base, and the game's price is high. So over here, it is $125.
Isn't that fucking ridiculous?
It faces stiff competition for the next week's Resident Evil Village, which is in a niche genre. With all the PS5 games, we should expect sales to rise and fall as more consoles come to market. So anyway, Bryce, looking really good for the UK at least, and I'm sure in the US and other markets as well, Pokemon Snap is going to go really well. So fantastic launch week for Pokemon Snap. Hope it continues. Hope Bandai Namco get the recognition they deserve, because I guess with Pokken Tournament being in like the fighting genre, it wasn't as accessible to just everyday Pokemon fans necessarily. So this is definitely like the casual get you in, just take some photos, enjoy the world of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And
Which is all it needs to be.
That's all it needs to be.
That's right.
So this one actually came out today, Bryce. So this is from Nintendo. And they announced a brand new game called Game Builder Garage. Bryce, did you see this today?
I actually did not know, but I've been hearing all about it from people's hashtags.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I saw it today and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And the way they put it and phrase it, I'm like, oh my God, this is before I saw any gameplay or anything. I'm like, this sounds awesome. But we'll get into what it actually is. So from Nintendo.com, they say, for the game, have you ever dreamed of building your own video game? The Game Builder Garage software is a great place to start. Anyone can learn the basics of game design and visual programming with step-by-step lessons created by the minds at Nintendo. So that last line, Bryce, the step-by-step lessons created by the minds at Nintendo, I expected like just straight away, this is what came to my mind, was like a Skillshare course from like Iwata, not Iwata, fucking Miyamoto. You know, something like that. Like, hey guys, this is how you make a bloody AAA video game. Or it's like, or check out a Numa's series on how to make an excellent action adventure game. But it's not quite that. It's pretty much Labo, obviously without the physical component, but it is for programming and like game design.
Yeah, right.
Because like with Labo, it's very much like get your hands dirty, get that cardboard folded, put it together. Good for kids to just learn how to construct something. Whereas this is very much just like on the software side of things, where it makes it very simple, just with the interface and everything to like make a character, control it, make an environment for it, and it looks really interesting. And when I first saw it as well, I'm like, it would be great if Nintendo could offer a software that is like free or like very cheap, like to sort of to be that stepping stone. Because every now and again, like, I don't know if you've probably had this before, Bryce, but you think to yourself, like, it would be cool to actually learn to make a game. And like stuff like engines like Unity and Unreal Engine, they are available to download on your PC and start creating stuff, start learning. You can go online, get some lessons, but that's pretty high tech stuff. That is what actual game developers use. Yeah. So it's not like just start jumping in from nothing. It is like a very big step. But having something like this, where it's like just on your Switch, you could have a kid could have a Switch Lite and just be like, I'm gonna make a video game, and like you got this. But it is $30 American, so I assume it's gonna be like $45 here. That's just like a rough conversion of what stuff usually sort of happens there. So it's not really a cheap bit of software, but it is still cheap enough for that accessibility to like, say if Evie was like, you know what, put it in front of her and she's just like, putting like lines between like, all right, I want this character to jump and move with the control stick and stuff like that. I reckon it could be a great idea. And if I had something like this when I was a kid, that wasn't like some big techie thing on like the PC where you had to like really understand what's going on, I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So good on Nintendo for doing it. So they've got here, so the included guided lessons can teach you how to build 7 fun games. So what are these 7 games? So there's one called Tag Showdown. So build a game of tag for 2 people to play. Watch your head. On a roll. Steady now. Use motion controls to roll the ball through a maze. Thrill Racer. Take on a computer driver in an exciting race to the finish line. So it looks like you've got like some games you've got to sort of construct yourself. So I guess in that sense, it is kind of very much like Labo. It's like, all right, you're going to make a piano, and it like does step by step how to build it to give you an idea. So interesting anyway. So that comes out June 11th. So not too long for that if you're interested in that. It's one of those things where I think this is at a bit more of a younger audience. It's very much like, all right, you're going to sit down with your kid and just like, all right, so you drag this there and that. Like it's not going to teach us. It's not going to make us into like Miyamoto's overnight.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Would this be something you would be interested in showing your kids, or?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. When is it available?
June 11th.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's still a while off.
So that's pretty much going to be very close to the E3 presentation as well.
Yes,
so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's probably when they'll really show it off and what people can do with it. Again, E3. Like I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
We'll be talking about E3 later on in the episode.
Yep.
All right, so we're moving on to Nintendo Insider, and they talk about some of the recent Nintendo financial report data that came out. I always enjoy these. I'm very, very nerdy when it comes to this. So the article is, Nintendo Switch has sold 84.59 million units worldwide. And the writer is Alex Seedhouse, and the article reads, Nintendo has announced that more than 84.59 million Nintendo Switch consoles have been sold worldwide. In the last 3 months, covering the start of July up until the 31st of March 2021, 4.7 4.72 million Nintendo Switch consoles have been sold. That means that 28.83 million consoles have been sold in the last financial year, which Nintendo calculates as representing an increase of 37% year on year. There were 20 million Nintendo Switch consoles sold and 8.51 million Nintendo Switch Lite consoles sold. Nintendo has now sold more than 587 million Nintendo Switch games. And if you want to know which are providing the most popular, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has now sold 35.39 million copies. And just behind it still is Animal Crossing New Horizons, which has sold 32.63 million copies. Number 3 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which has sold 23.84 million copies. Number 4 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has sold 22.28 million copies. Number 5 is Pokemon Sword and Shield, that have sold 21.10 million copies. And Super Mario Odyssey is number 5 with 20.83 million copies. So a lot of copies sold, a lot of Nintendo Switches sold. And I just want to take us back to the days of the Wii U. Over the 4 years, the Wii U was the main home console for Nintendo. It sold 13 point something million units.
Yep.
So the Switch in the last financial year, from March to March, has sold more than double of what the Wii U did in its whole life cycle.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
So it's great. Nintendo's going well. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
You're right over there, mate?
Yeah, that had to come up, that one.
Oh, fair enough. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that one with their friggin' headphones in. But yeah, just I'm personally happy that Nintendo's going well because they are making products that I am enjoying very much.
Yeah.
So, if they sell well, they do well, they're going to make more of them. Because back in the day when they were making a lot of we're going to put out Wii Sports. Wii Sports is great. What about Wii Play, Wii Fit, all that? They just kept making that stuff. And that sold well, so they kept on making it. It's fair enough, but I didn't enjoy it. Now they're making some more casual to hardcore games, which are right up my alley, and they're selling well. But what I want to say here is that Mario Kart is taking off again.
It is.
It's taken off again from Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing's so close to catching it, but Mario Kart's nope.
Do keep in mind it comes in most console bundles now, though.
Yeah. I'm not sure if how they count them. I assume they would count them.
They would.
Yeah, because they counted Wii Sports. That was cheating. But
yeah.
Damn it, Nintendo, you cheating bastards.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah. I also just want to talk about some of the other titles as well. It's notable that Ring Fit Adventure has sold 10.11 million copies.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's I wouldn't have expected that to be.
Ring Fit's cool, man. It is a genuine game.
I definitely agree with that. I haven't played it myself, but it's just to be a 10 million seller. That's nothing to look away from. That is a massive success.
Yeah.
And also last week we actually just missed it, but Super Mario Party actually received an update to include online play, which is something it should have included at the very start. And just to let everyone know, everyone's sort of forgotten about Super Mario Party. It's we played it a bit, and it comes in handy when we went to PAX. Switch comes out the backpack, Joy-Cons hand around. It works very well, but apart from that, we didn't play it that much. And I personally haven't tried the online yet either, but just put this into perspective. It sold 14.79 million copies. Just put it into comparison. That is not far away from the best ever selling PlayStation exclusive, which is Uncharted 4.
Really?
Yeah, I think Uncharted 4 is around 16 or 17 million copies on the PlayStation 4.
Why did I think that they at least had one title that was up in the 20s?
I don't think they do, but I'm not going to.
I'm going to Google that while you're talking about it. But
you can fact check me, but
no, you would probably be dead on.
But just put that into comparison, because Mario Party, Super Mario Party, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine with a lowercase f. It's whatever. It's definitely not in the games I would recommend if you're getting a Switch. But it'll be fun if you have it in the right circumstance. But it's sold so much. That game needs support so bad. It needs a DLC. Like, people want it as well. But yeah, apart from that, Super Mario 3D All-Stars has also sold 9.01 million, which is just kind of baffling why they put a cap on that, why they stopped.
As of March 2021, Marvel's Spider-Man was the best-selling PS4 game of all time. At 20 million units.
20 million. Right, gotcha.
Yeah. So even still though, 20 million units, like, shit. Like,
yeah.
For the install base that PlayStation has, I expected a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can just see the difference between the audiences. Like I know, like, a lot of hardcore PlayStation fans, they buy every single exclusive, and I'm mostly in that camp too. I've bought most of them, apart from Days Gone and a couple of ones I just sort of let slip by. But it's just like with Nintendo, I think everyone buys it, and they're very much in the mindset of like, I'm going to buy the exclusives. But what I did notice the other day, I was over at one of our friends' places. They got like a little boy and a little girl, and they've got a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, oh, you've got a Switch and a PlayStation? Like, on the PlayStation, he plays FIFA and, you know, Fortnite, all that type of stuff. I'm like, yeah, cool. What do you play on your Switch? That's more my wheelhouse. I'm a big kid like that. What's on you? You're playing Mario? You're playing Zelda? You're playing Smash Bros? But all he was playing on it was Rocket League and Fortnite. but that's the thing though, because
damn it,
it made me like vomit a little bit in my mouth. I'm like, yeah, serious? Where's this first party Nintendo support? But that just goes to I think that just goes to show, for me at least, that Nintendo has got to a place that it isn't just selling to people that just want Mario and Zelda. It is selling to people like, oh, this is a cool handheld and I could play Rocket League and Fortnite on it. Yeah. And that's why they got like the Fortnite bundles and all that type of stuff too. So, it isn't necessarily just people wanting Mario Odyssey and Zelda.
I suppose, but in the same vein as well, like, I'm a firm believer that you buy the hardware that you want the exclusives for. You know, like, we're slowly getting to the point where exclusivity is hardly going to matter anymore, like, at all. And it could eventually phase out, especially with, the fiasco that happened with MLB The Show, which we talked about last week, and that being a PlayStation Studios game, yet being on Game Pass day one. Yeah. Presumably because MLB merchandising were down their throat, like, you need to put this on both. Yeah, I think, because I disagree. I think exclusives are very important for, like, the consoles, because you can see with Xbox, like, you are completely misinformed in what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm saying that they're slowly phasing out. How are they phasing out? What's your example? We talked about it last week. I can't remember last week. There are a lot of PlayStation games that are now actually moving on to PC, and then we've got, MLB The Show hitting Xbox and stuff like that. So depending on the performance there is going to speak numbers, right? Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn, that's on PC, and then I will say though that came out 4 years after it did on PlayStation. It doesn't matter. It kind of does matter. No, it doesn't, because if you go back a generation, none of those fucking exclusives went to PC. None of them. Yeah, and now they're sort of like experimenting, because that's what I said last week. On because on PlayStation it just sells nothing at the moment. No, it's on PS Plus. It's on this. They're giving it away for free on this. That's exactly right. Play for home thing. It's a market that they can tap into and personally profit from. Yeah. But that would also mean that it's no longer exclusive just to a PlayStation console by doing so. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that you're not going to fucking see it on Xbox, sure, but there is a universal platform right there called the personal computer in which they can do their own market with. And the reason that is, and I said this again last week, Epic Games went from fucking zero to hero and have their own fucking launcher that they're doing shit on. And they've been buying people's exclusivity out from Steam and all that shit. It's obviously very clearly become a very profitable platform that they can profit from Jesus, with no effort whatsoever, if they just literally fucking port it over and make it compatible with the fucking hardware. That's the thing, like,
Xbox, like that is their platform. It's Windows, so
That's
whatever.
exactly right. But they don't get anything off of it.
Yeah, but with PlayStation, I think they just don't. All they want to do is just keep you away from Xbox, which is don't know what their strategy. Because I sort of imagine like, I can get Halo in Horizon. Oh, sweet. So why do they just play here all the time?
It's kind of a weird situation. Like,
what about the state of Nintendo though? Obviously, exclusives very much matter on that.
they aren't ever going to shift their budget, but that's because more or less that they're very old traditioned and refuse to move with the times, and that is in everything they do. Doesn't matter what you fucking talk about. They're like the Internet Explorer of video game developers. Like, as much as good as their shit is, which is the complete opposite of Internet Explorer, which was terrible. I
was about to say.
every decision that every other company makes is like 10 years in advance before Nintendo doing it and putting up their hand saying, oh, look, we're part of the crowd now too. And they've already moved on from it. Right? It doesn't matter what way you look at it. They're never going to change their stance on it. They're different. But that's because they don't have to. I feel like not as much as PlayStation and Xbox do, who are always in direct competition with each other, even though PlayStation has been blowing them out of the water last generation. But the generation before that for PlayStation was pretty fucking scary for them. Yeah. They went from the best-selling console of all time across anything to an absolute flop that was being beaten out by a company that had only been in the market for 2 generations.
Yeah, they're getting beaten by an exploding console.
Exactly. They were getting absolutely fucking walloped by the Xbox 360 until the end of its life, when the PlayStation 3 was cheaper to make and like all that nice stuff. But that being said, they've got to compete with each other in the market. Xbox is in the position now that it can provide to PC. They've made this universal app that's like, all right, you want Game Pass? Cool. You don't even have to be a person who owns an Xbox. You can have it on PC. You can get games there with Game Pass. Subscribe to us. We'll give you, this, and you give us a bit of cash, right? But I think that's what's so appealing to me in terms of the ecosystem with Xbox, and why I started with Xbox this generation is because that ecosystem is whole house friendly. If you buy Game Pass and you have an Xbox, right? You can play it on your TV. If you've got a personal computer, you can play it on your personal computer. If you've got a laptop, you can play it on the laptop. And it doesn't matter where you are in the house. If you own Game Pass and you've got an Xbox One, if you've been an Xbox fan since last generation, or at least owned an Xbox One, you get an Xbox One, you get a Series X, you've got a PC, you get a laptop, you've got fucking, what do you call it? Smart delivery. For like do that on an iPad or something. You've literally got an Xbox in nearly every room in the home.
Yeah. But will it run on Switch, Bryce? And speaking of xCloud on Switch, Bryce, this comes from Nintendo Life.
Fucking hell, man. Cut me off. Jesus Christ.
Just trying to keep the show moving, Bryce.
Trying to keep the show moving. You're the one that was like, I don't remember last week, so I have to re-explain everything. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm caught up now, mate. So this comes from the Epic vs. Apple lawsuit that has started, and a lot of stuff has actually leaked from this, including...
Is this about the phone calls?
It's about emails.
You missed the important one. Damn it.
What's the phone call one?
All right, I have to bring it up. No, you read this one, I'll read the next one.
So this one... So the article reads, the ongoing legal dispute between Epic and Apple is being live broadcast this week. It includes a lot of incredible stuff has already come out of it. Tim Sweeney, Epic's founder and COO, has been repeatedly asked to identify consoles. The money Epic paid out for the first 9 months of free games on the Epic Games Store was revealed. And we've also got that really passive-aggressive email in which Epic attempts to threaten Sony into adding cross-play to Fortnite. It's already been a bombshell after bombshell, but a bunch of well-paid execs who email people like they're telling a misbehaving child to do their homework. But it turns out that one exec in particular is actually maybe quite pleasant behind the scenes. So this is an email from Phil Spencer to Mr. Sweeney, and he says, I owe you a bunch of things and I'm behind. I apologize for that. Just a lot is going on, but that's not an excuse. You've obviously seen our Samsung announcement, and now our back now and back and forth with Apple. At the highest levels of Microsoft, we're committed to pushing these policies and continue to expand our console platform's capabilities. You can chime in as you feel. But it goes on. So basically, there's people like, oh, does this mean that xCloud or Game Pass could be coming to other consoles such as not the PlayStation? That will never happen. But everyone's really grabbing on to the Nintendo Switch side of things. Like, oh, will we see it here? And I'm personally like, no fucking way. Nintendo does not want that.
No.
They want to sell games on their own platform and make 30% on each game. Why would they want these bad boys coming in?
That's right.
But Bryce, what have you got there? What's the phone calls?
Jesus Christ. All right. Court accidentally opens Epic v Apple dial-in to all speakers. Fortnite kids go nuts. Always double check your conference call settings. The Epic v Apple trial began this morning with kids yelling over top each other in a packed phone line. I would suck all of you to get Fortnite mobile back, said one voice. I missed the commotion when I dialed in to hear Epic's opening statement, but QC reporter Nicholas Rivero caught it, as did The Verge. While much civil court business has been taking place over Zoom since the start of COVID-19 pandemic, the Epic v Apple trial is being held in person. Participants are required to wear masks and the number of people in the courtroom is restricted. So that the public, press, and each party's extended legal team can listen in, the speakers have been mic'd in and audio from the court is being broadcast live on dial-ins that support a few hundred people. The lines are not supposed to let anyone outside the courtroom talk, but apparently this morning they did. The Verge heard people say free Fortnite and bring Fortnite on mobile back, please, Judge. As well as play Travis Scott songs. When I called in around 9 a.m. Pacific, unaware that any of this had happened, I was asked by the automated system whether I wanted to join as a host, which I thought was odd. I opted not to. Maybe it was unrelated. I heard part of Epic's opening statement was without disruption. For now, the court issue has been fixed. It seems like a fitting start to a legal dispute that kicked off with Epic intentionally breaking Apple's rules and then launching an anti-Apple PR campaign directed at its Fortnite player base.
Yeah.
And then you've got this. There is a little snippet, I think. Hold on. Come on. Where are you? There. Come on.
Sounds like your typical Fortnite fucking chat.
Just people fucking calling in and they're like, free Fortnite, you assholes. It's like, I would suck you all to get Fortnite back on my phone. Like,
I bet you wouldn't, mate. That's a bit much.
That's just like, but apparently it was just an absolute mess.
Yeah, right.
It was probably the funniest story I'd read all week.
Okay, so you said to me, oh, you didn't get the phone call one. Why would I pull that up for our podcast?
Because it's fucking funny.
Duh. It's not funny as home videos, bro. It's just a serious Nintendo talk.
Fucking funny. What did your story have to bring? Oh, look, Game Pass is coming to Nintendo Switch. We've fucking heard that rumor a million times, all right?
We have.
It's never fucking come true. We know it's not coming true.
Well, I'm very much in the camp like, what the hell are you guys on about?
No, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Like, I'm of the belief that they have a pretty good partnership and that they'll bring, more Microsoft games to the console probably. But yeah, it's not going the other way around, mate.
You just pass me another drink, bros.
Another drink.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
All right, let's get into the next one, bros.
All right, mate.
So, Nintendo declines to comment on the latest Switch Pro report. This is from Video Game Chronicle. Bryce, there's a little bit to this. So the article reads, Nintendo has declined to comment on a new Japanese report, claiming it's planning to significantly ramp up Switch production in anticipation of a new higher-end model. Nikkei reported on Tuesday that Nintendo has asked its manufacturing partners to increase Switch production to 30 million units for this physical year, ending March 31, 2022. The figures would represent Switch's highest production level to date and an unprecedented increase in the game's 5th year since launch. So it's just basically from this story, it's just interesting that they're ramping up their hardware. So they're making a lot more than they have in the past. So it kind of indicates that they've got some big software to sort of line that up with. So hopefully that means Zelda and, Splatoon 3 and all that is actually going to hit within the next physical year. So yeah. Just a bit of an update on Fall Guys coming to Nintendo Switch. They announced that it will be delayed from summer 2021, but it will be coming later on in the year with cross-play between Xbox, Switch, PS4, and Steam. So that's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun to jump into.
Beautiful.
Personally, I'm really looking forward to it on Switch. It's going to be a great Switch game just to have, because it's one of those. Personally, I don't see myself just booting up the PS5 for it because I've said this a million times. Whenever I boot up the PS5, I want to play Uncharted or some big graphical showcase. But not really Fall Guys. But Switch is just one of those pick up. Yeah, I'll play it and yeah. All right, so this is about Monolith Software, Bryce. So this is also from Video Game Chronicle. And Monolith announces a large expansion in Kyoto Nintendo Studio and adds 50 staff in the last year. Ooh. So The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild co-developer Monolith Soft is continuing to expand with significant numbers of hires. In recent years, Nintendo-owned Monolith has contributed to the creation of not just The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but also Splatoon 2 and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Monolith is also known for its Xenoblade RPG series. On Wednesday, the Japanese studio announced a large expansion of its staff in Kyoto Studio, alongside the publication of 6 new roles, including 3D and 2D graphic artists. In total, the company has nearly 40 job openings listed on its website. The majority of these listings don't specify an exact project, but 5 are listed for the Legend of Zelda series, presumably Breath of the Wild 2. Monolith has expanded significantly in recent years, with a new Kyoto studio opening in 2019 to take the company's total locations to 4, with some 270 staff across each, an increase of 50 in the last year. Once new hires are filled, the company could be comprised of well over 300 people. So pretty cool news, bit of an interesting tidbit for a studio that contributes to a lot of games we absolutely love. And with Nintendo, we don't get that much insight to just how do you actually make your games? Come on, show us the behind the curtains. You assume it's a lot of people on computers, but apart from that, you don't really know. So it's just interesting whenever you hear about.
No, they got big testing rooms with crash dummies and mocap suits, and they're like what happens in Mario Kart? They put them on a stage go-kart in the middle of the thing. And they're like, wow. And then a good dude just goes flinging out, smashing against the wall.
Can you imagine development for Mario Kart 8? They're like, how the hell are we going to test anti-grab? Just Miyamoto comes in and just all these people just with broken arms. And they're like, we've got to figure this out. We've got to launch it in 2014.
Get those men to a hospital. We aren't paying for it.
All right, so let's move on to the news about E3 2021, Bryce. So E3 2021 will include guest presenters Greg Miller, Jackie Jing, Alex Goldenboy Mendez.
Meg Griller.
This is from My Nintendo News, and basically they just sum up what the hosts will be doing at E3. So E3 this year, for anyone that doesn't know, they're taking a different approach to it. It's much more of a digital presentation, kind of similar to what IGN or what have you would do. They bring in developers, interview them, show off their games, all that type of thing. And E3 itself is actually doing it this year. And to do that, they've got 3 brand new hosts. So they've got a bit of a description about each host. So I'll read them out. So Greg Miller, he is the co-founder of online entertainment outlet Kind of Funny. Miller has become one of gaming's most sought-after hosts for various events across the industry. Known for his comedic and insightful takes, Miller has deep ties to video and podcast content on video game culture, film, television, and comics. Jackie Jing is an Emmy-nominated TV journalist and current on-camera host and producer seen on IGN, Nerdist, Funimation, and Anime News Network. Jing has hosted several red carpet events and conducted dozens of celebrity interviews for AAA feature films. And Alex Goldenboy Mendez is one of the top professional esports commentators, host of multiple fan favorites, including Fortnite, Halo, Valorant, Overwatch, as well as commentator for NBC's The Titan Games. Mendes recently announced that he'll also be bringing his comedic styles to G4. So pretty cool. I'm very excited for one in particular, Greg Miller. I'm a big Kind of Funny fan.
Meg Griller.
Been following Meg Griller. Been following his content for years, so I'm really excited to see him at E3. And he's a fantastic host, whether he's at a paid event or his own content. So really cool for that.
I hope Meg Griller can cook me a good steak, mate. That's what I need for my E3.
Yeah. So you can't do it for Jackie Jing. She's got two J's.
Damn it!
What about Alex Mendez? Malix and Andes. Doesn't work as well.
Nah, it's Meg Griller, mate. It's Meg Griller.
Meg Griller. Congratulations, Meg Griller, on the brand new name.
Meg Griller.
All right, bro. So just a quick update on Pokemon Go as well. There's a Pokemon Go Fest 2020. It's going to be happening on July 17th to July 18th. This was last year due to the pandemic. This was the very first Go Fest to be held worldwide. You can buy a ticket and play it in your local area. It was a lot of fun to be participating in the events, I guess the bonuses and all that, and also sort of be included in your local community. Like we've got a Pokemon Go group which was just popping off at the time, and I'm happy to see it sort of continuing on with that. But it kind of has to, because the world is not exactly back to normal.
It never will be.
Never will be.
Never will be.
All right, Bryce, this one might make us a little bit sad. So Detective Pikachu star doesn't seem to think a second movie will happen, and this is from Nintendo Life. The article reads, We know filming of the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie is underway. But what about the supposed follow-up to the 2019 film Detective Pikachu? A sequel was even rumored before the first one had been released. So what's going on? According to Justice Smith, one of the lead stars of Detective Pikachu, it's probably best fans don't get their hopes up. During an interview with Inverse, Smith encouraged everyone to bury all hopes, as he doesn't think it's going to happen. Of course, if it does end up going ahead, he would love to participate. Here's the full exchange. So Justice Smith said, I would love to participate in Detective Pikachu 2. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think we have to just kind of bury our hopes. I don't think it's going to happen. I really hope so, though. Honestly, I'm such a huge fan. Who knows? Who knows? I hope so. End quote. So, don't know. How do you feel about No Detective Pikachu sequel? We really enjoyed the film back in 2019. We went and saw it together. Took your daughter. She loved it as well.
I bought the Blu-ray, which is the first Blu-ray that I've bought in God knows how long.
Yeah.
It was a really good movie.
They seem to do pretty well for him. I can't remember like the big money figures that it made, but...
Well, that's the thing about Detective Pikachu, I think. Like, we went and saw the Sonic movie after that, I think mainly because Detective Pikachu went over so well.
Yeah, we love that. So just give us more real-life video game characters.
Which is something that I can't say I've ever said before with the amount of other movies that have come out, and they've just been terrible, for video games. But... in terms of, I think Sonic we enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. It was good. It's all right.
It was good, yeah.
Better than most video game movies that I've ever laid my eyes upon. It was campy, fun, and that's all that really mattered. But Detective Pikachu was kind of special in its own way. First of all, it's like the first time that they've ever really left it in the hands of people that... I guess at the time you would call them like the big old megastars, like friggin' Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that. And then obviously you've got Justice, who was the main character in the movie. And a couple of guest appearances from other people as well, I suppose. It was definitely one of those movies that you didn't really expect to happen, and if it was going to happen at all, Pokemon movie was going to happen at all, it was not going to happen the way that we thought that it would. So before Detective Pikachu come along, if we'd ever imagined it that way, like apart from the animated movies, if we ever saw anything coming in real life, like it just wouldn't work if it was just like, oh, here's a trainer on his journey, or whatever. It had to have more of a premise that was easier to, I guess, condense. Something
mostly out of battling, but still in the Pokemon universe.
Yeah. I mean, look, battling could work even, and I think like...
They had a few battles in there, like obviously the I guess the one in the middle where it's in like the grunge area, then the very end against the boss.
Yeah, that's right. But I think they needed something that's more condensable, and that's where Detective Pikachu comes in, because it was kind of like, well, this story could be condensed down to just a mystery movie, you know. This could work, and then they made it, and then it sort of just worked out and did what have you. The only thing that was a little bit creepy was the basketball arm pads that fucking Mr. Mime had, but let's not talk about that.
He gutted a poor basketball for that.
And Charizard looking way too over the mark for realism.
And Jigglypuff?
No, Jigglypuff was fine, except the eyes were a little bit nightmarish.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit nightmarish. I think that was about it though. Like Snorlax in the street and stuff like that. That was cool.
I loved how they sort of imagined every Pokemon in that type of art style, just like the
Yeah. They didn't fuck around. Like they did a really good job of it, and you know, like even Greninja and stuff like that. That was awesome.
Just like wet and disgusting looking, like it would be, because it's a goddamn massive frog.
Yeah, and the big land mass of Torterra and shit like that. You know.
I really love that movie.
It's a fucking awesome movie.
It was awesome, yeah.
It is a really awesome movie, which is something that doesn't happen for video games.
I guess the thing is,
Where were we going with this conversation?
No, we're just going on
Detective Pikachu.
We're just going on a conversation, but I guess for the movie, they already had the outline of the story being the game that came out on 3DS.
Yeah, but that's what they needed.
Yeah, but like now they're like, oh, we've got to do our own story, and I guess it's
they could do so much.
Too hard for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the issue is not that they couldn't do it again. I think it's that they set it up to be resolved, and it was.
Yeah, and like they are making another Detective Pikachu game for Switch, supposedly. They announced it a few years ago now at one of those awkward Pokemon Company presentations. I don't know if you remember that. There was like no logo or anything, but...
No, they're just like, there's a second Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, maybe they sort of want to... They're going to start production of a movie when that game's out or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But regardless...
Personally, it would be really cool to see something that's more deep dived and probably more in a Pokemon reality type of thing. But I think the main concern with that is, and I think most people can agree with this, but looking back in the day, right, when Resident Evil movies were prominent, right, they were made by a director who now is famously outed as somebody who was careless with his stunt actors and stuff like that they've died and he's never acknowledged of it, or the one that had a life-crippling injury, lost their arm and all that stuff, and
Jesus.
Made them purposely play chicken with other cars and like end up in serious problems, you know, and he's a scumbag and he's been taken off that, and somebody else has been given a reign for these new movies, which we were having a discussion about that on Twitter in one of Dylan's posts. And I didn't realize that he had been taken off of it, but I'm like, oh, phew, thank fuck for that. He's not on it. But he also did the Monster Hunter movie, and the Monster Hunter movie is being panned so fucking hard, which is a shame because the Monster Hunter movie could be fucking awesome. And that is the problem, right? Is you've got to have a person that's passionate about the project in charge.
Such a weird premise for that movie too. Like monsters coming to the real world. And it's like the army.
and then they've got guns, and then they're like, oh, what's the name's? I can't remember the actors' names now.
Yeah, don't ask me. I haven't watched it.
Mila Djokovic.
Sure.
I think that's her. And they're like, oh, what's her weapon then? It's just like, oh, dual blades. I'm like, yes, of course, the dual blades, the iconic Monster Hunter weapon, the dual blades that is on the cover of every single Monster Hunter game ever. You know, not the great sword or something where it's like, you know, it is the cover of the game and is the point, and it kind of drives home that Monster Hunter is about hunting big monsters with big weapons. Like, yes, it's fuck. If you don't have any passion for the project, or if your director doesn't have passion for the project, I just wish you'd fucking stop and not bother.
Yes. Speaking of directors and
that's the problem.
And screenwriters, Bryce, we actually found a little bit out about the Zelda cartoon that aired in the '90s.
Cut me off, Jesus Christ! You're full of it tonight.
You're full of it tonight. What more of a point do you have to make, Bryce?
Fucking stop making movies about video games if you don't have a fucking passion for it, because you're just going to end up looking like Ball or this fucking dickhead who made the Resident Evil movies. Doing it for money. Ball literally made video games movies to evade tax. That's the only reason he made them.
Yeah. No, put him in the bin.
All of them in the bin.
All of them.
Not just that one, all of them.
So this comes from Nintendo Life, and the article is a Zelda screenwriter opens up about how much fun it was to make the TV series, and we haven't heard like much about the sort of the writing process of the Zelda cartoon. So this is a little bit behind the scenes. So the article reads, the Zelda cartoon series has had its fair share of critics, but like so many shows from the period, there are almost as many fans who would fight to the tooth to nail
Tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail, yeah.
Tooth to the nail.
Tooth to the nail.
Ouch.
Tooth, yeah, that'll do it. Prevent anyone from saying anything even remotely negative about it. If you fall into the later camp, you've no doubt been interested to learn that Rob Ford, and not his sister Eve, who was originally reported, though she also worked on the show as well, one of the screenwriters of the show, has spoken about working on the series. Speaking on to Netsy Boiler on Twitter, Eve shared some of the comments made by her brother Rob on the topic of the show, and how DIC, the company behind the series, was focused on the Super Mario Brothers show. I made sure I said DLC, not Dick. Which gave the Zelda team more leeway when it came to scripts and design. With relatively slim to slow show. Sorry, I'm sort of losing it at the end here. With a relatively slim show Bible to use, Ford and the other writers were given plenty of scope to develop the series as they saw fit. With the lead of the creation of the fairy character Sprite, which amusingly spawned from Ford's childhood obsession with Tinkerbell's bottom from the Disney movie Peter Pan. Amen. And it's funny because when you actually read the message, Nintendo Life, the writer here, Damien McFarren, he actually put that in a very much more family-friendly way. The original DM was not written like that. It wasn't.
Is the original DM there?
It is.
Oh my god, I have to read it.
All right, so we'll tell you what, Bryce. We'll get you to read it. There you go, Bryce. So there's a bit there.
Okay, sweet.
So these are the original DMs, Bryce.
All right, I'll ad-lib the conversation. Hey, I'm Brienne. I've been working on a Zelda series replay, including all the spin-off material, and I'm just about to go through the last cartoon adjacent work, Zelda's Adventure for CDI. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about what it was like working on the cartoon, if you have some time, of course. Sure. So I guess my big question is, how much reference material were you given to work with? Did you get any sort of series Bible, or were you just provided copies of the game, if that, and told to figure it out? We had a very short series Bible and no he references at all. I was proactive and rented a console and the game to try it, but didn't get very far in and quickly realized the game wasn't like the show at all, so I gave up. The Bible was basically a couple of sentences about each character and a few things about, like, avoid actual physical fighting and do zapping instead. Monsters killed, go respawn at Ganon's act. Include that stupid excuse me princess joke at least once per episode because one of the producers thought it was that funny.
It's just one guy like,
well, excuse me, princess.
Oh, shut up, Link.
Fuck off, Link.
No.
Obs, I cringe at how sexist it was, but this was in the 80s and everything was still pretty sexist. The show actually thought they were pretty modern because Zelda didn't wear a frilly dress usually. Do you remember if the Bible included anything about the non-game characters like Sprite and King Harkinian, or did you and the other writers come up with them? Oh, they were in there. Pretty much the only characters we came up with were the ones that were there just for one episode, like the Knight. Hey, I just asked my bro if he remembers anything he got asked a while ago and he saved this response. Jesus, I'm getting dry really quick, man. Didn't know anything about the game, though my son Max knew it. He was thrilled because they gave us a free cartridge of the game to play. I ended up having to make him a Link sword and shield out of wood. For myself, the manual was quite helpful in laying out the show parameters. Zelda was almost invisible at the time. It was only on Fridays. The other 4 days were the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which had all the studio attention. That was being run by Bruce and Reed Shealy. Since I had a live action components and they were pounding through 4 scripts a week to my 1, I found myself being left completely alone other than a few budgetary and FCC requirements. It's actually my favorite way to work. Ganon had a long flowing robe, which is expensive to animate, so I decided to just have him teleport everywhere. It was much cheaper and looked cooler. The fairy was a very minor element in the original game. I decided to make her a character and make her cute, because like many males working in the animation business at the time, my first sexual fantasy character had been Tinkerbell. That scene where she stands on the mirror worrying that her butt is too big still gives me wood.
Yeah.
Named her Sprite for very obvious reasons, and when it cleared the trademark search, that became her name from then on. From previous cartoons, I'd already gotten tired of heroes that only restored the status quo. Villain does something, heroes stop him. Problem with that is it makes the villain the most interesting character. So I decided to give each side a Triforce and have a fair percentage of the shows involving our heroes taking the initiative of trying to get Ganon's Triforce away from him. The Link Zelda relationship was based on the show Moonlighting, which was popular at the time. VP of Creative Affairs Robbie London felt we should have used it as a relationship model, and I was fine with that. One of the great things about Robbie was that he had no problem making decisions, which is honestly a huge help. You don't have to agree with the decision, just so long as you made it quickly and firmly. Once you have that, you can move on. Example, he also came up with the idea of "Excuse me, princess," based on the Steve Martin "Excuse me" gag, which was popular at the time. In all honesty, I didn't think too much of the phrase and decided to tease him by using it constantly so he'd get sick of it. Instead, it became immensely popular, so props to him, he was right after all. And John Grust, the line producer, used to complain that I spent half the show with people hurtling through the air, firing weapons, but he did a great job of pulling it off on budget. Best memory of the show was that Andy Hayward, the president of DIC, GEEK. Do you not remember that thing that would come at the end of old cartoons? It was like a window and it was like going through a bedroom and go GEEK.
Oh, I remember the bed for the window, but not Dick.
GEEK.
No, I don't remember that. No.
I'll have to find it on YouTube. It exists. It's a thing. They would say GEEK. Realized toward the end of the scripting that absolutely no one had been overseeing Zelda's scripts. So he sat down one day and read them all at once. He's that kind of guy. I figured I was about to get reamed. Sorry. For all the sneaky innuendo I managed to slip in, but Andy actually likes a bit of edge to his shows. He looked up, beamed, and said, "Everyone's a gem," and didn't touch a thing. Overall, Zelda was lots of fun. So basically, it just tells me he was a very sexual being that really got to just have fun with the show in general without much supervision whatsoever.
Yeah, it seems interesting because like just the whole idea that they cared way more about the Mario Bros. Super Show than the Zelda cartoon. So they're just like, oh, we got kind of free reign.
Yeah.
And also the idea, what we're talking about before, like, you know, with the Resident Evil and Monster Hunter movies, the director sort of has no idea about the initial product. In this case too, like, you know, if at least he tried to do the right thing, go and play the original Legend of Zelda game, but then he's like, you know what? Nah. It's nothing like it. Just don't worry about it.
Please tell me you remember this.
I'll put it to the microphone. No, I don't. I actually don't.
It doesn't. That's somebody putting it over it, but it did literally.
I actually don't. I actually don't remember that.
Here it is. Here is the original.
Yeah, okay, that rings more of a bell.
GEEK. I was like, what do you mean DLC? What the fuck? What are you on about? Or DIC? I'm like, what the hell are you on about? I'm like, it's GEEK. It says it. It says GEEK.
Is that how I should have pronounced it? Like, GEEK.
GEEK.
All right. So let's move on to the last story, Bryce, before we wrap it up.
Yep.
Nintendo Wire reported that Spaceworld 2000 Silver and Teal Game Boy Advance has been found. So just a bit of a backstory for this. When in 2000 in 2000 at Spaceworld. Spaceworld was the convention for Nintendo to show off its products to investors, and
Yes, it certainly was.
pretty much the E3
Good old Spaceworld.
at the time.
A lot of leaks from them lately.
Yeah, that's right. That's where a lot of the gold and silver demos and that came from.
That's right.
But this was the year when they announced the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, and the Game Boy Advance were in like different colors. There was different prototypes for the Game Boy Advance. So we'll go into a bit more detail in Nintendo Wire's article, and it reads, "It's been an interesting week for ultra-rare Nintendo console variants, with Queen Elizabeth's Golden Wii recently going up for sale for a hefty $300,000. Another ultra-rare system has also resurfaced. This time, it's the unreleased silver and teal Game Boy Advance from Spaceworld 2000. Andrew, who goes by @GamingLegend64 on Twitter, is currently in possession of the elusive handheld. He hasn't yet revealed where it was found or how it was obtained, but he teased that more details will be following up. Will be coming in Hard4Games. Jesus, I never actually read out a username, but Hard4Games. Don't call yourself.
It's hard for games, Drew. Just let it be.
YouTube, including a cool surprise. So I actually checked out Hard4Games. He actually runs a fantastic YouTube channel where he goes into gives a lot of information about a lot of these consoles, and he did one for the prototype for the Game Boy Advance that was shown at Spaceworld 2000. And as someone who's like absolutely loves like learning all about like these little things from Nintendo's history, it's really interesting to see how the Game Boy Advance prototype sort of started off. Obviously, the color is the more different thing. There was a variant for see-through and just silver ones with teal and orange buttons. But the more significant ones is when you turn this on, it doesn't have the typical Game Boy Advance like sound. It has a different sound coming onto it.
Oh, right.
It's actually got like a different board on it as well compared to what the retail unit was.
Does it have a clip there?
It does, but I've got my phone hooked up to it.
Oh, well, find it.
I'm not going to be able to find it quick enough, Bryce. I'm afraid.
We'll talk about it for a minute, and I'll find it.
Yeah. Well, Game Boy Advance, hard to multitask.
I'll talk about it for a second while you find it.
Okay.
So, just sort of pedaling back to $300,000 for that gold Wii. You think we could just get the Queen to give it to us?
Well, the thing is, the Queen's already sold it.
Fuck.
Well, I'll click on that story. I actually haven't heard about a gold Wii selling because I remember hearing about it. So read that story.
Oh, well. No, yeah.
Come to that story.
I don't remember it being sold. I knew she had it. In 2009, former publisher THQ had a very interesting way of promoting the otherwise unremarkable vaporware Wii titled Big Family Games. The company decided to send the Queen of England a 24-karat gold-plated Wii alongside a golden Wii remote and nunchuck, as well as a copy of the game. The royal family does not accept gifts, however, which left the actual whereabouts of the item unknown for a long time. A decade later, in 2019, Chris Pratt hosted the YouTube group People Make Games, investigated the whereabouts of the one-of-a-kind console and discovered it had wound up in the hands of a collector named Donnie. Donnie is currently in possession of the Golden Wii, but not for long. He has recently listed the rare system on eBay for a fixed buy-it-now price of $300,000. In an interview on Console Variations, the console database website of which Donnie is the founder, the collector reveals how he came to the decision. The reason I'm selling it is simple. I'm moving on with life. That's all I really have to say about that. Donnie was also asked if he ever imagined himself selling the item back when he obtained it. He said, my family was never very healthy financially, so money was always needed. I never wanted to sell it, however. I am always curious as how much someone would give for it. I wanted to keep it with me just in case I'll open a museum.
Cool.
And there's a lot of pictures of it, actually, that he's posted, which is quite cool.
I would like a golden Wii.
I think that it would be, like, stupid cool to own, but at the same time, like, why?
You play Skyward Sword on it, you're like, yeah, now I've got the gold controller, gold nunchuck, and the gold Wii.
So let's check out this. Let's check out the system on eBay. It is at $300,000. I would have imagined that
US too.
Yeah, $300,000 US. I would have imagined that he would have put it up for bid at a baseline price of $300,000. Like, that just seems more reasonable, because then he could actually gauge what people are willing to pay for a 24 karat gold Wii. Yeah, more power to you. Awesome. Anyway.
So yeah, I've got the clip from Hard4Games video. To check out the difference between the boot up sounds on the prototype Game Boy Advance.
There we go.
Has that sweet beta BIOS boot up sound.
Wow.
Yeah, so completely different.
For comparison, here's the retail version. Now, I did dump the BIOS of this.
So yeah, very cool.
That's very mad.
So I'll leave the link to the video in the show notes if you want to go and check out that.
He did say something very important there, which is good too. He actually dumped the BIOS of the console. So that means good things for people who want to emulate all those Spaceworld demos and stuff like that. Because it wouldn't run on original hardware, I don't think. But it'll definitely run perfectly on that.
Yeah, because in this one, he was talking about the orange buttoned variant, not the teal one, that's in this article.
Yep.
And the way they found that, it was in an auction in Japan where they actually had like multiple consoles laid out, and the Game Boy Advance was just in that bundle. He's like, and the person looked at it and went, huh, I think that's one of the prototypes, and he bought the lot, and it turned out it was when they let him borrow it for that video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so just like, it just shows you, like, this information is like very, you've got to know your Nintendo history to like know, like, like for example, everyone probably knows what the prototype DS looked like when they announced it at E3 2004.
Yeah.
Like, big chunky looking thing. So if you saw that, you're like, I think that's a prototype DS. But this one, it very much does look like a Game Boy Advance.
Yes,
just
it does,
different colors, and the trigger buttons in that are a little bit different as well. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Thought I'd just bring it to everyone's attention.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Hmm.
I want one. Don't know how much they cost though, God knows. All right, Bros. So let's jump into the House of Mario's Red Coin recommendations. Whoa, Bros. So this one is pretty obvious. We talked about it for the first half of the show. Brand new Pokémon Snap, the new one, not the old one. It's $80 on the Nintendo eShop. Go and get it.
Absolutely.
You can use a voucher to get it a bit cheaper, or you can go to one of your local retailers and pick it up a physical copy.
They really should have, actually, now that I'm just thinking about it real quick, right?
Real quick.
Why didn't they make it like a pre-order bonus or something that you could get a copy of the original Pokemon Snap on Nintendo Switch? Feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it does a bit.
Fuck. Nintendo.
A lot of the pre-order bonuses were like posters and stuff. I guess that was easier than porting an old game. I don't know.
It's just annoying. Like, pre-order bonuses are just, they're tossware these days. While I was in Ballarat, I like set it in order while I was in like the main mall in Ballarat, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go pick up Near Replicant on the way out. Picked up Near Replicant and I like opened it when I got in the car just to make sure the disc was there, and fucking lo and behold, there's a pre-order bonus. I'm like,
sweet,
cool. Okay.
What was it? Like costumes and stuff?
Keychain.
Oh, yeah, a lot of. Because I see JB Hi-Fi, their exclusive pre-order bonus for Mario Golf is a golf ball.
Yes, it is.
I'm like, sweet.
Just now we gotta go golfing.
Oh, I'm never gonna hit that ball. It's a Nintendo collectible. It's got Mario Golf written on it.
Oh, not Mario Golf.
All right, so the other two games I picked out, there's literally nothing really out this week that I've noticed on the Nintendo eShop. Could be wrong, obviously, but this is what I've got. So I've got Mum Hid My Game 2.
Yeah, shit. I forgot that come out.
Do you remember Mum Hid My Game?
I certainly do.
That came out very early in the Switch's life.
Yeah, a very, very, very long time ago.
Yeah, so the summary for it is, my game is missing again. Take back to hunting for consoles hidden by Mum.
Fucking Mum.
Let's find the game. Console Mum hid? Is it under the sofa or on the fridge? Could it be behind the curtains too? Give me back my game. Find the game in each level using various items. The sequel to the previous Mum Hid My Game is a easy-going and funny escape game. So there you go. And I picked this one out because I'm like, all right.
All right.
And it's got a massive description, which is going to be actually pretty funny to read. I do want to point out, I do feel bad for making fun of games. Like, people put the heart and souls into these things. But some of like the write-ups are just like, all right, that's enough. Sounds like you're writing on your blog, trying to describe, don't know, your holiday or something. But this game's called Car Demolition Clicker. It's $10.50 on the Australian eShop. And the summary for it is, ever dreamed of smashing your own car? Or maybe a car of your neighbour's? Well, now you have the chance. Grab your weapon, call out your battle drones, and start clicking the car into oblivion. Earn cash, upgrade your equipment, and find more vehicles to destroy. Tons of upgrades, support weapons, special abilities, and explosions. Taste of destruction at its best. This is the best clicker game. And this is the bit where it gets a bit weird. I don't know why you'd put this bit on the eShop. We put so much effort into the graphical detail and design to bring you a high quality product. Ally in the night, construction site, or gas station are some of the beautiful stages we have cooked up for you. Try to destroy different types of cars, from a van through American truck to a massive bulldozer. Break the window, smash the hood, blow the tires, and in the end, blast them with a rocket launcher. Our main goal was to create a unique clicker experience. Both graphics and gameplay, you'll see cool destruction mechanics, nice visual effects, car paint that gets more and more scratched. But what brings even more fun is buying those high-level support weapons. If that's not enough, use stage hazards like explosive barrels to call upon battle drones to destroy the cars even faster. You will love these tools of destruction, but beware, boss fight can be tricky. Better buy some damage perks just in case. So that's the write-up for Car
What? Sorry.
Demolition Clicker.
I fell asleep.
So yeah,
Jesus Christ.
unique experience. Click away on
It's
your...
a clicker game, guys. You fucking click.
I just love the bit in there where it just goes, we put so much effort into graphical detail. Just buy the game.
Please, just buy it. We put so much detail in the click.
And to be fair, I can't tell the difference between the screenshots in my actual car. So they've done a good job.
Let me see this amazing graphical.
It looks like a buggered up car. Like the graphics aren't, they aren't bad. I don't know if
No, guys, they look nice, but when you're convincing people to buy your game, and look, I would just like to say this could very easily just be in fact, it looks like it is just a JPEG on a foreground that will rattle around when you click it. It doesn't look like what the fuck is going on there? Like, fair enough, guys. You want to make some quick money and you're abusing the clicker format, which historically has been mostly free, to create a game that you are hoping to sell. 2.4 gigabyte on the download size.
That's a 2 gig.
How uncompressed is this game? It's a clicker game. What? Try to think of the games that are like 2.4 gigabyte. How big was Pokemon Snap? That was the latest release. Like, I think that's 7.
Yeah, it's not too big.
Yeah, it's 7 gig. This is a clicker game. What happened, guys? It's like a third of the size of Pokemon Snap, a game with like actual 3D environments and things going on with a huge orchestral soundtrack. You didn't compress this, did you?
You don't worry about it, bros. Anyway, don't have to worry about clicker too much. Unless you're going to pick it up and talk about it next week.
Again, like you said earlier, not people put effort and time into these things and stuff like that, but I'm starting to think that if you're putting out a clicker game that's that uncompressed and looks like it is just a JPEG on a background, probably didn't put a lot of passion into it. You just wanted $10.50.
Yeah. Oh well. All right, Bryce. I think that was a great show. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy yourself, Bryce? Sure.
You kept cutting me out every time I fucking spoke, but that's all good.
You know what, Bryce? Yeah, I got to step in every now and again as a host.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're at 2 hours, mate.
All right, mate. Yeah.
I've upset him, ladies and gentlemen, but
it's all right. Just talk about stats for the 50th time.
It is what it is because...
No, sorry. Make that 150th time.
Yeah, it might be close.
You would be.
Anybody, guys, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 185. If you enjoy the show, follow us on your podcast platform of choice, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can join our Discord community. There is a link in the show notes below. And a big shout out to the guys and followers following us or watching us on youtube.com/iDrewby.
Don't worry, kids. Mum and Dad aren't fighting. We're just play fighting. Okay, I'm sorry.
Bryce, you're not on the next episode.
Please.
If you're there, I'm not there either.
Please, I don't want a divorce.
A big thank you to Wacko Jacko, JRX1 Games, Dave Langley. Langley's watching.
Langley. How you doing, Dave?
So yeah, we don't have any schedule necessarily for live streaming this, but we just record our recording sessions whenever we get the time to do it.
I think this just makes it easier.
Yeah, so
it's good to see Wacko Jacko there too. How are you, man?
Yeah, so guys, thank you very much.
If I knew we had comments there, I would have opened up on my phone, but I guess not.
I just kind of assumed that we wouldn't, and yeah, we do. So thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Bryce, the doors to the House of Mario episode 185 are closed.
It's a song for this week.
Don't have one. Get out.
Wow. Ouch. Bye.
Nah, so I'm seeing what it's like not having a jukebox since we're on like YouTube and more platforms now. It's getting a bit touch and go.
All right.
With copyright. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, yeah, thank you very much. I see you guys pointed out that we are out of focus. I did notice that. We had some problems with the camera, so I had to turn it on and off, and obviously in that process, it unfocused on us. So we're sorry about that. But it is what it is. Sort of the visual component of this podcast isn't what we prioritize.
No.
It's the audio. That's what most people listen to us on.
Dead on.
So thank you very much for listening, guys.
Absolutely.
Dave, it was nice to have you in the chat. Wacko Jacko, as always, you support us in our Discord and our podcast as always. Thank you very much.
And congratulations to Wacko Jacko.
I'm pretty sure JRXX1 Games is John O'Connell.
There you go.
So, John, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope your channel's going well, man. I remember ages ago you'll posting a lot of videos. I haven't seen any recently. I don't know if that's...
A lot of clippy clues.
Yeah, clippy clues.
A lot of clippy clues to the YouTube.
There's Meta Docs, and he didn't get a mention. I'm sorry, Meta.
Oh, Meta.
I just quickly went through the chat here, and you weren't there.
It's his fault. He didn't tell me there was a chat open.
Well, you knew it was on YouTube. I just assumed no one would find us on YouTube.
Just all of a sudden we were there. Yeah, you know what? I actually that's the thing that went through my mind is I'm like, we're not telling anybody, so it'll just happen. But I guess it did.
Because like the main reason we are live streaming to YouTube at the moment is so I don't have to upload it.
Yeah.
Because I just don't have the time to sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to upload it. It'll take forever, and
yeah,
it's a process. So
it's just better.
So now it's just there.
Yeah,
people can find it.
Don't have to worry about it, and as long as we're not doing anything stupid on camera, we'll be fine.
I mean, we don't usually. It's offensive, at least.
You forgot about them hookers, didn't you, mate?
I did forget about those hookers.
And the cocaine.
And the cocaine.
Damn it.
That's why you're coughing all the time. You're gagging up that
the cocaine.
Claggy cocaine.
All that cocaine wrestling in the back of my throat. I'm talking really quietly, but I'm talking in the
everyone in the chat's like, why is Bryce...
fucking hear me.
Bryce is like... Was Bryce throwing up flour? It's like, oh no, it's just he just did a lot of cocaine.
I don't know, man. I just really like cookies.
Cookies.
I fucking love cookies. I love cookie dough.
It's okay, Drew. I'll let it slide this time. Thank you, Meta.
No, Meta, slap him.
Oh no,
please, please. He deserves it.
Slap me for Meta.
What do we got going on in the comments? I want to read, Drew.
No. Don't touch my phone.
Wacko Jacko is shiny hunting at the moment. Flamin' heck.
Flamin' heck.
Flamin' heck. What's flamin' heck in you, my friend? What you got? Go home, you're drunk. Oh my god.
Are you talking to Bryce? Because I am home.
I'm talking to everyone. Kick his ass, says David Langley. You're fucked, man. Everybody's against you, Drew. You're dead.
Why have we got 5 viewers now?
I don't know, man. That's what happens when you put up a live stream. People come to it.
Honestly, didn't expect it. I'll be honest.
No, because we usually advertise before we do anything, like quite fervently, and it's usually only when we do like Usually podcast specials.
Yeah.
Usually podcast specials.
Because like the thing,
Unless you're opening Pokemon packs.
like at the end of the day, the audio is like the product we're making. I don't want that product to be always referring to the Twitch chat or the YouTube chat in this situation. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, welcome to the chat or whatever, but I don't want that being in the actual podcast.
No, absolutely. No, that's right. That being said, like I don't mind opening up for half an hour before the show either, while we're still getting shit organized if people want to say hello or whatever and catch it live.
Yeah.
Because we literally come into this room and just stuff around for half an hour anyway. That's just common practice with us.
Yeah. We were testing out our wheelbarrow skills, holding Bryce by the legs. See if we can win a wheelbarrow race.
We'll be sitting here and we'll just be like, "Hey, you ready to do the show?" It's like, "Yeah, mate, I'm ready to do the show." And then we'll be like blank for a second. We'll be like,
yeah, I actually did put out a tweet earlier tonight just saying, hey, we're going on. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
Forgot about that.
Social media.
Yeah, social media.
Fucking social, all right.
Yeah.
Anti-social media.
Yeah, buddy.
So anti-social for you forget your own tweets. You just put them out to the world and forget.
Yeah. Did anybody catch the skit at the start of the episode?
Oh, the skit. The skit was good.
We're just gonna have to. If they didn't, we'll just have to make them.
Why don't you just hit the button, man?
No, we'll have to make them download it tomorrow.
I suppose. I suppose the skit was good. The skit was good.
Anti-social, anti-media, anti-social, social, anti. Okay.
Anti-social, social, anti. Damn on.
No, sadly. Oh, we'll play it for Wacko Jacko, eh?
Yeah, hit it, man.
Make sure you set us to auto download on your podcast service. So
hit it.
For goodness sake.
Hello, dear listener. Now I know what you might be thinking. Did I click on the wrong podcast? Is this a trailer for the new Sonic movie where a character called Tails flies like a parakeet by rotating his incredible tails? I'm here to say, no, you are indeed in the right place.
Absolutely mental.
This is the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 power star rating. Before today's episode with Silly Billy's Drew and Bryce, enjoy this pre-show starring two of your favorite Nintendo characters.
Wacko Jacko's just like, what the fuck?
What's up, everybody? It's me, Super Mario. You may recognize me from notable Nintendo franchises, such as Mario Kart, Mario and Luigi RPG, Mario Golf. Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics despite Sonic's obvious advantage, and of course, Mario's Hotel on the Philps CDI. This episode I'm joined by one of Nintendo's greats. He's the hero of time, holds the Triforce of Courage, and is protagonist of the Legend of Zelda series. Everyone give a warm welcome to Link.
What a fantastic intro. I have to say I'm blushing a bit. Mario.
That's my pleasure. Your mark on the video game industry is obvious. Since your initial debut in 1986, you set the path of what action-adventure games would become on home consoles.
Yeah, I've honestly had a pretty good track record when it comes to the titles I have starred in, though Skyward Sword was a tough one. Most players would just spam the waggle on the Wiimote. Every day after work of being the protagonist of Skyloft, I was exhausted. That was a difficult time for my wife and kids.
Oh, I wasn't aware you were married.
Yeah, I usually like to keep my family life private from fans. A large portion of the community gets enjoyment from the thought of Princess Zelda and myself as an item. I think the general idea is sweet, but some of the artwork is too raunchy. Keep in mind she also has a family and a loving husband.
I hear you there. Even myself as a character from a family-friendly platformer gets drawn in some indecent ways.
It honestly needs to stop. Sometimes my wife comes across them on Rule 34 and I need to explain that they are only drawings. The fans are so talented and have gotten good at mimicking the art styles of my games.
Video games are a relatively new medium compared to music and film. Going forward, we will hopefully see better standards for video game protagonists.
Hopefully so, Mario.
We will continue this conversation in the future, but unfortunately that is all the time we have for the pre-show. Link, where can the listeners find you?
They can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Link is Awesome, and starring in all mainline The Legend of Zelda titles.
Excellent. Now Drew and Bryce, take it away.
everybody. Big penis.
What's up, you silly bastards? You're welcome
Fucking
to the House of Mario.
Big penis.
Bryce, how you going, mate?
Good, mate.
Oh, no. So Beavis and Butthead host the podcast. How you going? How you going? So, guys, what'd you think of the skit? Oh, it made me laugh so much just putting that together. So dumb. You just like iron off that chat. Come on, someone. Say something.
Coming this summer. Put your hands together for the burlesque show you never thought you would ever see. Coming this summer.
Yeah, so that's the voice of the Honest Trailers guy.
Yep, I commissioned him. Yep.
He commissioned him. No, he didn't. He didn't. He used a very secret piece of software.
Very secret.
Very secret.
Yep.
Very secret. It's incredibly secret.
Yep.
So obviously he's donated his voice to that and got paid for it. You would think.
Must have, unless they stole it, but no, they can't do that. I would imagine they get sued to all hell.
Oh shit, yeah. So that's pretty mad. That's pretty mad. I never thought that, something like that would exist. Technology has come too far.
Damn.
Yeah, from Smosh Networks. That's right. The same dude. The same very dude.
What a wahoo.
I just call him Honest Trailers guy.
You might be thinking, did I click on the wrong podcast?
Yes.
Is this a trailer for the new Sonic movie where a character called Tails flies like a parakeet by rotating his incredible tails?
Yes.
I'm here to say, no, you are indeed in the right place. This is the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 power star rating.
Cliche.
Before today's episode with Silly Billy's Drew and Bryce,
I am indeed
enjoy this
Silly
pre-show
Billy.
starring two of your favorite Nintendo characters.
Hi, I'm Link.
Hi. It's me, Super Mario. You may recognize me from
Super Mario.
What's up, everybody?
I fucking
me,
loved the
Super
Sonic
Mario.
in the Olympic Games.
You may recognize me from notable Nintendo franchises, such as Mario Kart, Mario and Luigi RPG, Mario Golf. Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics despite Sonic's obvious advantage, and of course, Mario's Hotel on the Phillips CDI. This episode, I'm joined by one of Nintendo's.
So do you want to try and make a
greats.
skit
He's
for
the
next week?
hero of time,
Yeah, sure.
force of courage, and is protagonist of the legend
I'll get you
of
to
the
put your voice into it too. We'll put our voices into it.
Link.
Yeah, right.
See what it fucking does.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
You're more
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as Where's My Penis? Or
I'm glad Meta has a similar sense of humor to us. Like the Silly Billy's part gets me every time. It fucking gets me too. It's just so dumb. You bunch of silly billies.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as The Silly Billies.
Yeah, just how we'll introduce ourselves. Like, we are the Silly Billies. We're like instead of the Wiggles or whatever, it's like, we're the Silly Billies. What was that other Australian group? What are they called? The Hooly Doolies. We are the Hooly Doolies.
Silly Billies, the Hooly Doolies.
We are the Silly Billies.
And
We are the Silly Billies.
Have you seen my black poo? We are the Silly
Look at Drew. We are the Silly Billies. Look at Bros Billy.
Silly Billy, Silly Billy, Silly Billy.
Anyway, we're sort of like venting a bit here.
That we are.
I've got to get this episode up,
All right.
so I'll do that. What are you doing for the rest of the night, Bros?
Going to bed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm up earlier than usual these days. I'm going to take the kid to school. I'm usually a sleep until 9 person, but instead I'm up at like 7.
Poor bastard. Poor bastard.
Yeah, and look, I know you've got it harder, all right? Don't rub it in.
Just calling you a poor bastard. Although I was going to go and say I have to get up at a normal time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that's what happens, I suppose. Like, working the pub for a few years.
Yeah.
You kind of just like get into the routine of staying up as a night owl. I mean, I already was anyway, but
I am too. I'm naturally a night owl.
it's when everything gets done that you want to do.
Yeah, like recording a podcast,
That's right.
for example.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing a video game.
Yeah, you don't get time to do that during the day.
Looking around eBay for cheap pliers.
Cheap
You can never have enough pliers.
Bryce and I are also streaming the House of Mario on YouTube. Well, Sean Capri like that, so he's probably going to join in now.
Yeah. What's Wacko Jacko? Any advice, Bryce? What was the advice for? Unmatched sense of humour. And how do you do so off script? That'll be me in like 5 years. Any advice, Bryce? Is that any advice for being off script?
Hang on, let me read that.
Or for kids? Because we're talking about kids and hurly-durlies, I don't know.
And how do you do ooh?
How do you do? We are the hurly-doolies. My name is Drew.
For the kids thing.
And this is my friend Brew. We are the hurly-doolies. What do you need advice for? Should we be giving advice? I don't know if we're qualified for that, Bryce. Don't think we are.
Oh, right.
What's it for?
For getting up for the kids to drop off at school act. Get kicked out of bed, Jacko. That's how I get up in the morning. I get kicked out of bed.
What, Jade just comes and kicks you in the back of the
Well,
head?
yeah, because the thing is that she's usually up at that time most days anyway because she's coming home from work, you see. So she gets in at 7 a.m. She kicks me out of bed. All right. In cases that it doesn't happen, she's on. She does the kids in the morning. But if she's coming off work, she'll kick me out of bed. But it also depends when I'm working and stuff as well. Basically, I'm not good at waking up to alarms unless they're around the time that I'm comfortable with, which is about between 9 and 10 o'clock. Because I've been working the bar for, have to be about 4 years now, 5 years now. So most of my work has been night shifts, so I have a tendency to sleep into that time, regardless. My body clock doesn't like it when there's change. So having a partner that's, working night shift and coming home at about that time anyway to kick me out of bed is actually quite beneficial. And it helps a lot because it just means that I'm definitely up at that time as opposed to sleeping past my alarm, which is something that happens. So yeah, it's definitely the way to go. But I guess if you wanted any advice for pre-prep, the best thing you can do is probably start getting a bit more of a routine now. If you're a night owl and you don't want to start it, you don't have to. But if you could start practicing a little bit earlier before you go and get too heavy into it, like with the school coming up and stuff like that. Obviously you've got a few years on you now, which is good. But yeah, give it some time, man. You don't have to start straight away, but when you do get to that point where the kid stops crying to wake you up, essentially, you'll be fine. Because that becomes a natural alarm at some point because you have to wake up to that because they won't stop. That's just how it is. They cry and cry and cry until they get up. And then when they stop doing that and then they have their own beds where they don't have a crib anymore, then they get up and then they raid anything that you've got. So my PC is hardly mine in the mornings anymore because my daughter will be on it watching videos because she's up before I am. And she gets away with it. But yeah, no, don't stress about it too much to begin with. You can be waking up a lot as it is. Obviously, your child is only quite young yet. So you're going to experience that enough as it is. So take what sleep you can when you can get it and that's the advice that everybody gets told when you've got a kid. They're like, get sleep when you can get it because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
So if they sleep in the morning, don't be afraid to sleep in too. Unless you've got to get up for something specific.
You're like, your kid's still asleep. Like, oh, I'm not going to work. I'm sleeping.
I've had a couple of situations actually that when they get older, the biggest thing you've got to worry about is, and again, this like routes back to my PC, them getting into your technology. Because what happened to me the other morning was my daughter had a bit of a habit there for some time of like yoinking our phones when we're not using them and just using them to watch YouTube. And you're kind of like, okay, that's fine, that's whatever. But something that never really crossed my mind is that she would do it in the mornings when we're not awake. And she did it one morning when my alarm was on for work, and she dragged it all the way out to the kitchen. So my phone alarm went off. She cancelled it immediately because it come up and I didn't wake up for work. And then she left my phone in the lounge room and I could hear my ringtone going off. And I woke up to that, ran out into the lounge room, picked up my phone, looked at the time, and I realized I was 15 minutes late for work. I'm like, shit. So I picked up, it was my boss. And I'm like, I am so sorry. My kid has picked up my phone and that is my alarm source. And they're like, it's fine, don't worry about it, we've all had kids, etc., etc. They're just like, just get to work as soon as possible. I'm like, it's all right, I'll be there in 15. And surely enough, I was there in 15 minutes, so no big deal. But yeah, that's when you have to start worrying about them, when they start getting interested in what you're in what you're doing.
Yeah, don't think about that, like the kid actually stealing your alarm.
Yeah.
Alarm clock.
I mean, like Evie's right into just about everything I do, right? She likes the video games and like all that stuff as well, and Arthur's into it as well. Like they take a really keen interest into what I'm into as a hobby because it's attractive to kids, I suppose. You know, video games are, and then YouTube videos and stuff like that as well. Everybody watches YouTube videos. They just see it as regular TV these days. Kids don't watch ABC Kids or anything anymore. They're on YouTube watching other kids' videos and stuff. That's kind of how they are. But, you know, you do have to watch out for stuff like that on the internet as well, because she's developed her own video game fandoms and she's really into Cuphead right now. Like hugely into Cuphead. She loves Cuphead. She loves everything about Cuphead.
Did you play it?
No, she hasn't played the game yet. She's really excited to play it, but my TV's been busted. So I'm like, we will play it when we get our TV back.
Yeah.
But she's been into everything Cuphead since then, even finding Flash games on the internet and stuff like that to play that
Cuphead is gonna
resemble enough.
Gonna crush her.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. She's really excited to play it, but it's gonna crush the absolute shit out of her. Anyway,
unless she doesn't care and she just keeps going back.
Well, we could play co-op and I'd just have to get good.
Yeah. Like no, Cuphead's great. Like you put on a podcast or like something else and you just try and you slowly get further and further and further.
Yeah,
and further
that's right.
until you beat it.
Yeah.
So if she's patient, she just goes, I don't care, I died. Then she spawns right back and she has another go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She'll get there eventually. She might be 10 years old by the time.
Yeah, that's right.
She gets there.
That's right. But she's really into that at the moment. And unfortunately, with a lot of things on the internet, especially when it comes to video games, fandoms are actually extremely dangerous.
You're right.
Like, you know, you've got people that are sort of into those, into the games that can be targeted at a younger audience and stuff like that. Cuphead being one of those. But there are older people that are into it, that are into like shipping. So they'll put up like fan-made videos and stuff like that. And there is stuff that she has clicked on. I'm just like, nope. That's been on YouTube of like Cuphead and Mugman kissing and shit. And like stuff that you like kids shouldn't be seeing.
The opening skit was all about that.
Like exactly. Like it is mad dangerous, like what they can get into. And you don't realize it as an adult because you're kind of just like, oh, there's those fandoms like the bronies or stuff like that, or what are they called? Cloppers that are like sexually attracted to the characters, or furries in general, I suppose. But like thinking more targeted things, right? And you know that translates to anything. Anything has a fandom for that. And it gets to the point where like people are more open with what they like sexually these days. So stuff like that is very much on display. And when kids click on a video or something related to like Cuphead, that's just what they're going to do. They're going to click on it because it's related to that. And I caught her with a video one day, and I keep a real close eye when she's on the computer now after seeing it, because I'm like, that is borderline. Like that is borderline as fuck. I'm like, nope, click off. I'm like, shouldn't be watching that. It's terrible. Like it's always the things you don't think about. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Cuphead, you're not like, oh yeah, there's going to be graphic nudity or something.
Oh, like, and that's the thing is like she found a Flash Games website all on her own. So at what degree of level does it become that I have to start watching the Flash Games as well to see what content that they're driving? Because shit. Like, even just thinking of it as kids, we had it enough as a danger as kids, but I think, like...
Yeah, it's like me going on Newgrounds and finding Polly the penis. You remember Polly the penis?
I do, yeah. I
was like a little kid, just like, oh, I'm Polly, and I'm a penis.
But it's going further back now. Like, we were coming on 10 and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
like, when we were discovering that stuff. She's only 5. That's half the age that we just started discovering that shit. And like at that point, it's also becoming a lot less unfiltered. And
yeah, because like even though it was Polly the penis, it was still like a cartoon character.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. I was pretty sexual at the end of the day. Yeah, did some things.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, and just looking at the phone, no problem, man. I'm like, I'm open. DMs are open if you ever need to ask anything, like at all. Plenty of time to prepare. Yeah, and I'm glad things went well, dude. Like, when you'd put up the status update, I was concerned, obviously, as I'm sure you were too, about because it's obviously not a regular procedure that happens with the shunt and all that. And I read into it, sort of looking into it and the data statistics and stuff like that, just out of my own curiosity, because we had our own concerns being people that had a miscarriage before we actually had a kid and stuff. So I was curious about that stuff. So I looked into it, and I'd read that they'd gone, people with shunts have like gone to live on perfectly happy and full lives and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, thank God for that. That's what I need to hear. And so that's when I messaged you and said, just hold the best thoughts you can right now. Bubs is here, and that's what matters. And that's like the time. That's the time you get. You don't want it to be ruined by the little details. And like out of my own curiosity, like I wanted to read into it before I said anything, because obviously I don't want to say anything out of place that would, potentially offend you guys, who at that point would have had more information than me. So it was important that I sort of just looked into it. And yeah, after reading into it, man, like I'm glad that they had a solution, and I'm glad that Bubs is healthy and good, and there's going to be a little time left in hospital, but once that time is up, like it's going to be full on. But it is definitely an experience you'll never forget, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Don't stress about the details. Worry not about anything like that. Just know that you're a dad now, and that's going to happen. Kids are kids, man. Like, yeah, it's hard to explain. People talk about the joys of them all the time, but it doesn't really hit until you actually have kids. She's been in great care. I'm very happy to hear that, man. I'm very happy to hear that. We had a little bit of problems enough. With Evie when she was born. I'm not sure if I had told you. Do you know she almost suffocated? When she was born. Like the minute she was born. Because the doctors weren't paying attention. Obviously we're new parents at the time and stuff like that. And, Bubs had to go on the boob and like all that stuff as well. But they were not paying attention at all, like in the aftermath. So Jade was trying to breastfeed, and they gave her the initial impression of how to handle it wrong. And I caught it. I said, she's blue. And they took her off her immediately and had to put breath back into it. Yeah. Like, it only takes missteps like that, man. And it's, it's not, at that point, it's not Jade's fault. She'd just given birth to this baby, and she's dazed, and she's trying to figure out how to do all these things for the first time, and the nurses aren't watching. So thank fuck I was watching.
Yeah.
Because if not, we might not have had her over a very simple mistake. Yeah. Yeah. You like it is crazy. They are so volatile, like when they first come, but you know, the important thing is that all the natural care and stuff like that happens like straight up. Yeah. No worries, Meta. Take it easy, dude. Yeah, look, I will. I'm going to take her to school tomorrow, but then she's going to the grandparents for the weekend. But not like that means much for me. I've got to work all weekend. So either way, I'm somebody's responsibility. Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah. I don't think I have told you that. That was very serious, but I guess we never really talk about it because it was a scare, but it wasn't, you know, because it never eventuated to anything. I let it go, you know, no problems come of it, but it was, yeah, just lucky enough I was watching. Oof.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Anything could happen. Anything could happen in a friggin' heartbeat. That's why I'm so glad that, you know, when free time, never heard of it. Exactly. That's why when Jacko posted about Bob's condition, I was sort of like, all right, I'll look into it and do my research.
Because it's like when I was born, I got flown up to Adelaide.
Yeah.
I wasn't breathing properly.
Yeah. No, you told me that a while ago, actually. Yeah.
The flying doctors.
Hey, Cody, when she was young, also I think she was about 6 months old, same thing happened to her. She was having terrible aspiration problems with asthma and stuff like that and had to be flown to Adelaide with mum. Yeah. You know, it's a volatile situation for the first year, not in a stressful way, but in a way where you're like, you know, you stress a lot because you think a lot more is going to go wrong that actually does. But that's not a bad thing either, because being cautious about everything is just safety protocol. That's the way you want to do it. And with the second kid, like, you know, you start to notice the signs. And with Arthur, not that we didn't care as much or anything like that as well, but we knew what was sort of just baby things and what wasn't. So, yeah. Arthur concussing himself on the glass table was definitely not one of those baby things. Jesus. We never realised having a boy was going to be so much more difficult than a girl. Yeah, a lot of people are like, girls are more difficult than boys. I fucking disagree. You know, Jade's had this habit of like forgetting to buckle him in his chair lately.
Yeah.
Right. And not that that's really ever been a problem in the past, but he's discovered how to get out of his chair. So he will now, if I go off and I go prepare his stuff, I didn't put him in his chair. If I go off and prepare his stuff for his bath like I did tonight, I will find him behind me in the bedroom because he's jumped out of his chair, climbed onto the table, got onto the chair, onto the floor, and then walked to me. And I'm like, why?
Damn it, kid.
I'm like, do you know how dangerous that is, man? Oh my God, he's such a terror. But Jesus. Yeah, good night, man. We better get going too. I've been fucking over an extra hour.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's fun talking to everyone though.
Yeah, it was. It was good. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll catch you later.
Yeah. Catch you later.